The opening scene shows a girl standing alone on a cliff edge. It's Liani, the last remaining spirit white lotus flower of the world, in stark contrast to the gloomy setting, her face filled with anticipation as she speaks. Finally, this day has come. Then, Liani closes her eyes, clenches her hands tightly. After so many years of cultivation, this time I will definitely transform. Just then, a tribulation lightning strikes from the sky, charring her entire body black. Liani falls to the ground, blood streaming from her mouth. But a satisfied smile blooms on her lips. I failed. Several of her dear fellow disciples gather around, laughing with pity. In the end, this spirit white lotus flower, Liani, failed her transformation, with another even more excessive one poking her with a stick saying, "Who told her to bully us for so long?" The other chimed, "This is retribution." Then they recalled the times Liani would act spoiled with the masters. At that time she shed pitiful tears, saying, "Master, my cultivation is too difficult." Her master would indulge her, patting her head and replying, all right, this immortal lord will give you some elixirs." At this point she spoke up irritably. All day long she only knows how to pretend to be pitiful, to trick the immortal lords into giving her elixirs, not cultivating properly. She deserves to be struck dead by the heavens. Another standing beside her said through tears, "We don't have to not raise our heads because of her anymore." Liani, speechless in a daze, thinks, "Have some decency, I'm about to die and you're still scolding me." If it weren't for the fact that spirit white lotus flowers are born without the innate talent for cultivation, would I need to go around pretending to be pitiful everywhere? Thinking of this, she closes her eyes and accepts her fate. Well, my life was just like this. I only hope that in the next life I can be reborn into a body with more ability, and not be a white lotus flower that people hate. Cut to another scene. Lotus flowers blooming in a lake. Liani gradually opens her eyes. She's dazed, Looking at the bright lights on the ceiling, she still doesn't understand the situation. Where is this place? Having gained a new life, what awaits her is maybe the life she wants. At this time, Liani sits up, rubs her eyes, and guesses, could it be that I was reborn so quickly? Then, Liani looks at the luxurious house before her. Then she comes to the mirror. Looking at the smooth skin before her eyes, she can't help but be surprised. Liani happily clasps her hands together, overjoyed. I've become a rich, beautiful, and successful woman. This believer is willing to do good deeds and accumulate merit. It must be that the heavens heard my wish and allowed me to receive a new and extravagant life. But there are no free lunches. A 5G system appears. Baby Hong celebrates with a burst of firecrackers. Host has completed the rebirth. The female supporting character system counterattack is now officially launched. Seeing that sudden appearance, Liani was quite surprised. The system politely tips its hat. Hello, I'm the strategy system. No, 5G. Host, now your new identity is... Baby Hong pulls out a novel with a flourish. The arrogant and vicious female supporting character. In the CEO's sickly wife, Tang Ai Ning, Liani tremblingly points at Baby Hong and asks, who did you say I was? It enthusiastically pronounces each word clearly. Tang Ai Ning. She takes the novel hesitantly. I once read this book in the cultivation world. Although this female supporting character has the same name as me, she is the eldest miss of the Tang family, and also has 5 brothers who dominate the elite of Hua country. Liani turns each page, reading each line carefully. But I am an arrogant, useless person, who only knows how to be dazed in front of her future husband, Si Fenglan. But because the female lead, Su Qingqing, stole Si Fenglan away, Su Liangre always opposed her. In the end, she was hated by everyone, kicked out of the Sua family, a tragic ending. The little pink one sighed in agreement. That's right, because the original owner didn't know how to show weakness, that's why she had such a tragic ending. Then, its sparkly-eyed presented a photo of Xian Fenglan, saying, your mission is to use your White Lotus skills to defeat Su Qingqing, capture the male lead Xian Fenglan, and change her fate. It pushed the photo towards her, urging, attack quickly, Lianaire unhappily replied with a forced smile. Even if you want me to use my White Lotus skills, you don't have to arrange the attribute panel like this, right? The reason Lian Fryer said that was because, apart from beauty and White Lotus level being at 100, everything else was 0. Stamina, charm, luck, IQ, and medical skills were all 0. Lian Four angrily pinched the little pink one's face. It's okay if the other attributes are 0, but even stamina is 0. Do you want me to die on the spot? It still replied cheerfully, oh dear, that's not important at all. As long as you increase the favorability of the brothers during the mission, you can gain skill points and attributes. Hearing that, Liancourt finally let it go. Wait, increase the favorability of the brothers, raise attributes and skills. The little pink one looked at her, radiant as a flower, and explained, but that's not important. What's important is to complete the mission, win the male lead's love. Then you can become a beautiful female lead and reach the peak of life. It kept urging. This is the ultimate ideal of thousands of young girls, isn't it exciting? Suddenly, Liancher's face became triumphant, and she slapped her hand. If I get the affection of 5 brothers and max out my skills, wouldn't I become the most powerful person in the world? This is acceptable. The little pink one anxiously leaned into her ear from behind and said, Hey, are you even listening? Lian Crier pushed its face away and replied, I heard it. I remember all the important stuff. At this point, she secretly smiled. I've been a useless white lotus for so long. This life, I must become the strongest flower. At this moment, someone outside shouted loudly, Su Liangwei, how could you push Su Qingqing into the lake? Come out and apologize to her quickly. Just reborn and there's already a crisis. Liangwei naturally didn't understand what's going on. The little pink one scrutinized the novel and replied, Now is when the female lead, Su Qingqing, has just returned to the Su family. The original owner, Su Lianwei, was just venting her anger at her a little. Si Fenglan and the original owner's eldest brother are demanding justice for Su Qingqing. Saying that, it took off its hat and turned on the warning light, reminding the host, this is a turning point in Su Liancher's life. If she fails, Su Liancher will lose the trust of her eldest brother and gradually have everything stolen by Su Qingqing. Liancher was really tense and trying to adjust her mood. Taking each step towards the door, looks like this white lotus flower's eye for people is pretty good. When I read the novel, I already felt that Su Qingqing was not a simple person. Then she sighed, letting out a bit of frustration. Her eyes gradually became sharp. If I'm the one standing here now, her little schemes won't succeed. The fate that was already arranged must be changed. Lianfer's small hand was already on the door handle. Her mouth curved into a smile. Isn't it just dealing with a green tea? BTCH. I'm best at that. At this moment, Qi Qing pitifully nestled in the arms of the handsome guys, who coldly glared at Lian Nhi with disdain in their eyes. She only smiled lightly, thinking to herself, well, this is quite the big scene. Just then, Feng Lan, the original owner's future husband, loudly rebuked Su Lian Nhi. Why did you push Qi Qing into the lake? Do you have to cause a death to be satisfied? Lian Nhi, bored with the old cliché, thought disdainfully, TCH. This male lead is not only ugly, but also not very smart. Next up was Miss Qi Qing's performance, the illegitimate daughter of the Su family, with a voice dripping with green tea. Brother Lan, don't be so harsh with her. It's all my fault for being careless and having a relationship with her fiancé. If doing this can make her feel better, then it's okay. As she spoke, she shed a few drops of aggrieved tears. As long as you can be happy, Lian Nhi, Qi Qing will do anything. Feng Lan felt his heart ache and comforted the beauty while wiping away her tears. Qi Qing, you're too kind, that's why you're bullied. Lian Nhi. I leisurely drank her tea and watched the melodramatic comedy, inwardly sighing at the standard green tea performance. Looks like this illegitimate younger sister of mine is quite the green tea connoisseur. Su Qiyuan, Su Lian Inhe's eldest brother and the leader of a mercenary group, interrupted. All right, whatever the matter is, let's talk in the study. What kind of behavior is this, arguing so loudly here? Then he looked at Lifian Nh. I meaningfully, she pouted, feigning innocence. It's obvious that I haven't said anything yet. A moment later, in the study, Qi Yuan spoke first. Su Lian Nhi, you were truly in the wrong regarding this matter. Apologize to Qi Qing. At that moment, Little Pink snapped her fingers and reminded her. Activating branch mission. Entering the system space, Lian Nh. I was still confused, huh? A series of his information was displayed, and Little Pink flexed her muscles excitedly. Attack your eldest brother, Sun Qi Yuan, to receive a strong physique, Likian Nh. I curiously pointed at the panel and asked, System, is this the branch mission you were talking about? Little Pink proudly replied. That's right, I specially prepared branch missions that can strengthen your attributes. For example, attacking the eldest brother in front of you will increase your physical strength. Lixian Nhi, who was practically an idiot who could faint at any moment, pointed at herself and asked, System, what happens when the affection level of eldest brother reaches 100? He predicted you will have bulging muscles, probably become a muscular body, and also get the skills of a mercenary. Hearing this, Lian Inhe's eyes lit up. That's amazing, so awesome. But then she hesitated. Then if I attack the other 4 brothers, will it also increase other attributes? Little Pink replied. That's right. Then he held out 5 cards and explained amiably. Your 5 brothers correspond to physical strength, fortune, medicine, charm, and knowledge, respectively. Lian N. H. I had another question. If I attack all 5 brothers, what will I become? The Little Red King started listing a series of alluring outcomes. Oh, nothing special, just becoming a billionaire, a genius, a medical master. Seeing Lian Nhi in a daze, mouth wide open, grinning ear to ear, it startled and reminded her, "What were you asking me about side quests for? Your drool is all over the place. Don't forget, your main mission is to seduce the male lead, Feng Lam." Lillian N.H. I snapped awake and asked, "The male lead you mentioned, does a family property buff come after a successful seduction?" The Little Red King started painting a rosy picture of love. Obtaining the male lead's love will make you the most beautiful female lead in this story. That's the biggest reward. She picked up Feng Lam's photo, rubbing her chin while evaluating. I have a feeling this reward isn't very effective. Then Lyrian Nhi lowered her head and asked, "So even if I don't seduce the male lead, there won't be any punishment, right?" The Little Red King replied, disgruntled, "Without the male lead's love, you can't be a beautiful female lead. Isn't that the biggest punishment?" Lemian Nh. I laughed scornfully. "What's the point of that pie-in-the-sky love? Seducing other guys is much better." Saying this, she smiled contentedly. "Reborn, I'll let you all witness how awesome I am." Then, relying on decades of experience, she tearfully and pitifully spoke up. "Why should I apologize? I didn't do anything wrong." The more Lian Nhi spoke, the more agitated she became. "It's true that I pushed Su Qingqing, but so what? Who told her to steal my most important person?" Feng Lam was furious upon hearing this. "Su Lian Nhi, you really are vicious." Qi Yuan, across from her, rubbed his temples. Why was our Su family cursed with a younger sister whose brain is entirely consumed by hopeless romance? Feng Lam stood up excitedly, pointing at her, and said loudly, "Brother Qi, you heard it too. I really can't tolerate her unreasonable troublemaking." Qi Yuan coldly continued, he began to stammer. So, Feng Lam gathered all his courage and said, "I want to call off the engagement." He scoffed and waved his hand dismissively. "This engagement, if it's to be called off, it has to be proposed by the Su family. It's not your turn to stand here and make a ruckus." He was clearly a bit flustered. "I'm serious. I don't like this kind of bossy girl like Su Lian Nhi, he said coldly. "Don't like it. You still have to put up with it." Feng Lam weakly swallowed his anger and sat back down. At this time, Qi Yuan looked at Lian Yin Nhi and asked, "Su, Lian Nhi, is it worth it to act like this for a man?" She hurriedly spoke up. "Who said I did this for Feng Lam?" Qi Yuan asked in confusion. "So I am Lian Nh." I choked back tears and whispered, "Su Qingqing stole my father, stole my fiancé, and I could overlook it all, but I absolutely won't allow her to steal you." Qi Yuan was stunned and asked again, "You mean Su Qingqing stole the most important person from you, and that's me?" Lian Nhi, with tears streaming down her face, added, "That's right. Yesterday I saw you telling the kitchen to make soup for her." Ever since Mom passed away, older brother has always been scared. "I'm afraid all of you will be stolen, leaving me alone." Every word from Lian Nh. I felt like a stab to big brother Qi Yuan's young heart, Little Hong excitedly exclaimed. Su Lian Nhi is using her tearful offensive. The ice-cold Su is afraid of girls. Tears. Hearing this, Qi Yuan felt ashamed. That's right, it hasn't been long since Mom passed away, and Dad already brought a stepmother and her daughter into the Su family. Lian Nhi is so young she must be scared. We, as her older brothers, have overlooked her feelings. Ching Ching, smelling like a green tea BTCH, spoke up. "No, you've misunderstood me. I don't want to compete for anything with you." Tears flowed freely as she started crying. "My mother and I have relied on each other since I was little. It's the first time I've had so many family members. I just want to live in harmony with everyone." Feng Lan, his brain failing him as he tried to comfort the beauty, yelled at Lian Nhi. "Su Lian Nhi. You've been living comfortably since you were little. Is there any delicacy you haven't tasted? Are you trying to push Ching Ching into the lake to drown, just for a bowl of ginseng soup?" She gently looked up and said kindly, "Brother Yuan, Brother Lon, please don't blame older sister anymore. I also didn't know she couldn't swim. If I had known, I definitely wouldn't have pushed her." Lian Nh. I still had a friendly smile, but her heart was already burning with hatred. Does she think that if she doesn't get angry, she can treat others like fools? Then she began to defend herself. Eldest brother, that lake isn't even 1 meter deep. I've been playing there since I was little. Who knew that she's already an adult and something could happen there? The original green tea BTCH stiffened completely. Qi Yuan, being perceptive, immediately understood. Lian, NHI is right. That lake is indeed very shallow. Could it be that Qing is faking it? At this moment, as she was about to add fuel to the fire, Brother Yuan lost patience and stood up. Enough, Qi Yuan said with a cold expression. That's the end of this matter. No need to mention it again in the future. Feng Lan helped Qing out, and Qi Yuan called out, Please trouble Si Shao to take Qing to the hospital for a checkup. Li Kan, NHI, you should go back first too. Linian NH. I quickly grabbed his hand. Wait a moment, eldest brother. Her eyes filled with grievance, she said. I've been having nightmares lately, eldest brother. Could you come to my room later and coax me to sleep? Needless to say, that expression instantly melted Qi Yuan on the spot. He affectionately patted her head and sighed. All right, outside, a handsome man was eavesdropping on their conversation. I really can't do anything with you. The handsome man smirked with delight. Interesting, it seems. The Suin family's young mistress is not as rumored. Then he reached out and knocked on the door. From inside, Qi Yuan said softly, I'm sorry, Lian Ni. My business partner has arrived. I'll make it up to you later, okay? Lian Ni replied obediently. It's okay, you go ahead with your work, I'll go to bed first. With that, she walked to the door and reached for the doorknob. Gently opening it, she could see a figure standing outside. The handsome guy held a wine glass in his hand, and the two of them made eye contact. Her expression remained calm. Unlike her, the handsome guy smiled at Lian Ni, quite pleased. Lian Ni spoke in a model tone. Hello, he politely replied. Hello, Miss Su. First time meeting you, Miss Su is indeed extraordinary. Lian Ni smiled professionally and responded, Thank you. I won't disturb you and my brother's business talk. Then the two of them turned and walked forward. Lian Ni narrowed her eyes and thought, What's this guy saying? Weird. But then she quickly returned to her room, launching herself onto the bed. She hugged the pillow, incredibly happy. Being from a rich family is great. This pillow is real swan down, so good. Lian Ni leisurely swung her legs and asked the pink ball, System, quickly show me my attribute panel. After looking at her achievements, she was somewhat disappointed that it only increased by 10%. The ball proudly pointed to the information panel and said, No problem. Lian Ni frowned unhappily. Do I owe something to the person who wrote this system? Then she sprawled on the bed comfortably and said, However, just health is not enough. I have to think of a way to continue seducing my elder brother to get more physical energy. The system, hearing this, protested, No, your main mission is to seduce the male lead and be a happy Mary Sue. Lian Ni began to calculate. The 5 Su family brothers are so outstanding. By seducing them, I can obtain top-tier physical energy, top-tier brain power, top-tier luck, top-tier medical skills, and top-tier charm. Here, she winked at the ball. Tell me, what's the point of seducing the male lead? The pink ball angrily replied. How can you be like this? Why don't you respect the script at all? But Lian Ni didn't have the mood to listen to those ramblings. She reached out and turned off the light. Very satisfied, she lay down on the comfortable bed. Don't bother me, what I say goes. At this moment, a system that lost its dreams cried silently and turned into stone on the spot. Before long, Lian Ni had been asleep for 2 hours. Her face was peaceful and serene. At the same moment, someone gently opened the door and stepped inside. It was Qi Yuan. He quietly closed the door behind him. Then, he sat gently beside his sleeping younger sister and looked at her. Qi Yuan smiled adoringly and whispered, Sleep well, Lian Ni. Then he stood up, not wanting to disturb Lian Ni's rest. At this moment, her trembling voice unconsciously spoke. Number, Lian Ni said with difficulty, Mom, don't go. Hearing this, Qi Yuan froze. On the other side, Lian Ni choked with sobs, her body trembling. Please, Mom, don't go. He looked at his pitiful younger sister, his heart aching. Lian Ni is just a child. What on earth was I doing before? Then Qi Yuan recalled every moment with her. Big brother, I'm getting fat. Hug, hug. At that time, he smiled and replied, Lian Ni, we're home now. Do you want a hug? But now, he used a distant tone to ask, Just how long are you going to make a fuss? Thinking of this, Qi Yuan softly placed his hand on hers, comforting her. I'm here, don't be afraid. He gently wiped away the tears on her cheeks and said with a heavy heart, I'm sorry, Lian Ni. Qi Yuan's brow furrowed slightly, a feeling of guilt washing over him. I was wrong before. He then pushed himself up and stood up. Go to sleep, Liania. From now on you have your big brother. I won't let you suffer any grievances. Qi Yuan quickly walked to the door, but not to let the readers grieve. The big sister, Liani, playfully opened her eyes, smiling smugly. Little Hongqi pointed at her head, scolding silently. She's faking sleep, she answered softly. These little skills should definitely be used. That sly fox is secretly gloating, thinking she's got this aloof, handsome second brother wrapped around her finger. Can't deny it's me. Managed to snag 70% of second brother already. The original owner was always strong, never showing any weakness, but our White Lotus is just too delicate. Thinking about it, it's even more amusing, Lian Ni said. Looks like there's hope for a 10-second victory. At this moment, Qi Yuan arrived at the stairs and encountered Qing Qing. He felt somewhat displeased. Then he asked, Su Qing Qing, what are you doing here? The green tea BTCH softly stammered, I wanted to visit my sister. Before anything else, Qing Qing already produced tears, looking at him pitifully. I was too panicked after falling into the water back then. Didn't notice the water in the lake was so shallow, and even made my sister suffer unnecessarily. Then, with tears streaming down her face, she lowered her head. I feel so guilty in my heart. Qi Yuan, however, looked at her with a judgmental gaze, showing no sympathy whatsoever. Then, he remembered Lian Ni's aggrieved sobbing. Qi Yuan looked at the green tea BTCH Qing Qing with discomfort, thinking, tears as precious as these lose their value if cried too often. He then said coldly, there's nothing to explain. Qi Yuan coldly brushed past her. Lian Ni is already asleep. Don't bother her. Suddenly, he spoke, enunciating each word with a stern voice. Right, from now on, don't call me, older brother, anymore. My only younger sister is Lian Ni. Hearing this, Qing Qing trembled slightly. She secretly glanced at him, probing. What's going on? Things were clearly not like this at the beginning. The green tea BTCH Qing Qing began to reveal her true colors. Su Lianni doesn't have the brains to convince Su Qiyuan to change his attitude. Su Qiyuan must be helping her out of consideration for their blood ties. The more she thought about it, the more unwilling she became, clenching her fist tightly. It can't be like this. I have to think of a way. Qing Qing gritted her teeth, plotting to make Si Fenglan and Su Qiyuan completely disgusted with her. She unconsciously gnawed on her nails, utterly unwilling and resentful, thinking, Sun Lianni, just you wait, I want to take back everything that belongs to you. 2 days later, Wu Xian, the maid from Madame Su's maternal family, Bai Qingyue, was with Lian Ninghe and several other maids in the dressing room. She said, Miss Lianni, the dresses for tomorrow's birthday party have arrived. See which one you like. Lian Ni pointed to a red dress and said, I'll try this one later, Wu Shen replied. Yes. Lian Ni then turned away indifferently. You don't need to help, I can do it myself, Wu Shen instructed the maids. You can all go out first. In her heart, she was ecstatically celebrating. I was a delicate, pale-faced lotus flower long enough in my past life. It wasn't easy to become a stunning beauty in this life. I must create a beautiful look. Wu Shen followed behind, speaking warmly. Miss Liqin, then I'll do your hair for you. Moments later, Wu Shen said with a serious expression, Miss Lingyan, you and Madam are so alike, both too kind-hearted. What is that, Su Xingqing? If it were me, I would have chased her away long ago. Lian Ni suddenly thought, this Wu Shen is a maid my mother brought from her family. Her loyalty is unquestionable. Perhaps I can gather some inside information from her. Thinking this, she asked while doing her makeup, Wu Shen, is my father still with that woman? Hearing this, Wu Shen irritably spoke up. Yes, saying that the mistress's body isn't healthy, so they're sending her abroad for treatment. Humph. They aren't afraid that the madam will use lightning from heaven to strike her dead. Lian Ni asked in confusion. Mistress. But I heard my father say that that woman was his first love, and my mother was the one who jumped in and stole my father. Wu Shen immediately retorted, Su Fei, jumped in and stole. At first, it was clearly Su Aoheng who actively pursued your mother for money. The poor madam was deceived and spun around. Even in death, she didn't know the existence of Su Qingqing and her mother. Lian Ni involuntarily sighed. That scumbag father is truly greedy for money. Bai Qingyue, as proud as she was, probably didn't expect that her body wouldn't even be cold before a little mistress would take over. Hearing a knock on the door, Lian Ni said casually, Come in. It was precisely the green tea Qing Qing, she called out weakly. Sister, Lian Ni lazily replied. What is it? Just say it, Qing Qing pitifully replied. Sister, your birthday is in a few days, but I don't have a suitable dress to wear. Can you lend me one? Lian Ni coldly looked at her and replied, Father must have given you a bank card. Can't you just go buy one yourself? Ching Ching put on an understanding expression and said, Dresses are too expensive. It's too wasteful of father's money to wear one just once. Big sister Lian Ni laughed in her heart. So you're truly thrifty, truly understanding, truly kind. These tricks are too outdated, they don't work anymore, but at this point she began to put on her glasses and study novels. In the novel, the original owner suffered a great loss at her birthday party. Perhaps I can use this opportunity to set things up in advance. Lian Ni then smiled happily and said, Okay then, you can go to my dressing room and choose one. Take whichever one you like. Ching Ching was visibly startled and asked again, Sister, you're really agreeing to lend me one? Wu Shen said with dissatisfaction. Miss Lian Ni smiled happily, pointed at the closet, and said to her, Of course. Anyway, this young lady doesn't wear outdated clothes. All the clothes in that room are things I don't need anymore. On the contrary, they're quite suitable for you. Green tea. Ching Ching's face turned green with anger as she secretly resented, I knew she wasn't so nice. Then, she pretended to be obedient and replied, Thank you, sister. Can I go choose a dress now? Lian Ni indifferently replied, Not now, she continued while patting on powder. The dressing room hasn't been cleaned up yet. We'll talk about it tonight. Wait for Wu Shen to inform you. Hearing this, Ching Ching turned around and walked out. Okay, then I'll wait for your news, sister. In her heart, the green tea plotted to sneer at her. Su Lian Ni, you can be smug for now. Anyway, you don't have many good days left. When she saw her leave, Wu Shen spoke up unwillingly. Miss, why did you agree to that illegitimate child? Even if it's clothes you don't like anymore, you shouldn't make it cheap for her. Lian Ni looked at her and replied with a smile. It's okay, Wu Shen. Listen to me. Go open the camera in that dressing room, then take out that dress of mine. Remember to put it in the most visible place. Wu Shen asked in confusion. That dress is very expensive. What if that vixen Su Ching Ching chooses it? Lian Ni smiled slyly and added, Expensive is what makes it interesting. That's right, go find a needle and thread and scissors. But when you're finding these things, you must let my elder brother see it. Time quickly arrived at the birthday party. The MC spoke up and said, Next, please welcome the main character of this party. He shouted, Miss Su Lian Ni. Lian Ni beautifully hooked arms with Qi Yuan and entered. Feng Lan held a wine glass in his hand, looking at her entrancingly. This is Su Lian Ni. Upstairs, someone was also observing Lian Ni. It was Qi Yuan's partner, he said without warmth. It's a pity she insists on being Si Feng Lan's fiancé. After a while, the young ladies surrounding her kept praising her. Lian Ni, you look so beautiful today. Not like your usual style? Tell us, where did you buy this dress? Lian Ni secretly sneered in her heart. Aren't these the close friends who praised the original owner? Then, she smiled triumphantly. Too bad you guys ran into me. Next, Lian Ni started her performance. What's there to ask? Even if you know where I bought it, you can't buy it. Even if you could, you wouldn't look good in it. Hearing this, the socialites hated her, but couldn't do anything. At the same time, someone spoke up. Look, who is that? Lian Ni also turned her eyes to look Ching Ching, extremely charming, raised her wine glass, and walked towards her. Sister, happy birthday! Let me offer you a toast. The two people huddled together and whispered. Unexpectedly, the illegitimate daughter of the Su family came too. Not gonna lie, she's quite pretty. Lian Ni smiled flawlessly, thinking, So you came to die so quickly. Then I won't be polite with you. Thinking this, she also picked up her wine glass and cheerfully replied, Okay. Lian Ni brought it closer to Ching Ching. Thank you for your wishes, cheers, only to see the two wine glasses gently touch each other. Who knows what powerful force caused the beautiful Ching Ching to fall backward. Unconsciously stepping on the hem of her dress, a line of smooth skin appeared between the white scales. She was a mess, exposing everything that needed to be exposed, and fell backward in pain. The green tea, BTCH, said loudly, with tears in her eyes and trembling, Sister, why did you push me? Ching Ching looked extremely provocative. Her first reaction wasn't to cover herself, but to deliberately scrutinize Lian Ni. Sister, you did it on purpose. She looked up at Lian Ni from below and added, You tampered with the dress, just to make me look bad in front of everyone, right? Lian Ni's close friends looked at her with disgust. So that's it. No wonder Tang Aining was so easy to talk to today. Turns out she had already thought of a way to harm Su Ching Ching. At this moment, Feng Lan walked over and draped a coat over Ching Ching's body, Put this on first. With me here, she won't be able to do anything to you. Then, while helping the beauty to stand up, he loudly scolded, Tung Ai Ning, you're too much. Ching Ching trusted you so much, yet you could do this. Lian Ni calmly replied, Oh, I did it. How come I don't know? Saying this, she looked at the green tea BTCH with evaluation. Before, when I read the novel, even the original me was curious. This dress ripped way too coincidentally. Her gaze lingered on that graceful figure, sighing with admiration. What should be revealed was, and what shouldn't be, wasn't at all. She wondered if Su Lianier had damaged the dress in the original story. The more she thought, the deeper her expression became. But this time, she didn't touch it, yet it was still torn. Then there's only one possibility. This whole drama was orchestrated by Su Qingqing herself. Even the claims about the book are just Su Qingqing's one-sided story. At this moment, the green tea Qingqing said, choking with sobs, This dress was lent to me by my sister. If she didn't tamper with it, then who did? The others whispered among themselves, I remember now. Isn't this the expensive dress that Lianier ordered last year? Lianier thought it was too boring, so she only wore it once and never again. So it's true that Lianier lent it to Su Qingqing. Feng Lan acted like a hero, stepping forward to protect the beauty. Su Lianher, we have both witnesses and evidence. Let's see how you deny it now. This vicious woman, I really should. Qi Yuan behind her spoke sternly. Enough. He walked over to Lianher and asked, Lianher, do you have anything to explain? She replied, looking wronged. You doubt me too. Then Qi Yuan recalled Wu Shen's words. The young lady asked me to find a needle and thread for her, saying she wanted to mend clothes. At this, he thought suspiciously. Lianher only wore the dress once. How could it need mending, he thought. The scissors and needle and thread were probably taken to deal with the dress Su Qingqing wore. Thinking of this, Qi Yuan massaged his temples and sighed. Seeing him like this, Lianher pouted. Your attitude, I understand. I have nothing to explain, someone shouted from behind. Make way, police! Qi Yuan asked in surprise. You two are... They held up their badges and said, We received a report. The person who called the police claimed that a dress named Zalazachi Xin was missing, so we're here to investigate. The people next to them discussed Zalazachi Xin. Isn't that the one Su Qingqing is wearing? That's right, didn't Su Lianker lend this dress to Su Qingqing? Why would she call the police? Could it be? Liancher then raised her hand and answered, I called the police. This morning, I went to the dressing room and found that the Zalaza Qi Xin dress was gone. Then, she gave Qingqing a sharp look. However, it seems I now know who stole it. Those people gasped again. No way, did Su Qingqing really steal this dress? Wait a minute, my brain can't keep up. If the dress was really stolen, how could Su Liangar have tampered with it beforehand? Are you stupid? Maybe she did it herself to frame her, someone said. Ah, so that's how it is. The green tea Qingqing wouldn't admit defeat, so she said, Don't talk nonsense. I didn't steal anything. My sister lent it to me herself. Lian Kyer smiled triumphantly and continued. I lent it to you. Do you think, given our relationship, I would lend you something? She was so angry that she couldn't speak, sister. At this moment, Qi Yuan shouted impatiently. Silence! Then, he said coldly, I've already asked people to investigate the dressing room surveillance footage. We'll know who's lying once we check. After a moment, the police officer pointed at the computer screen and said, What were you doing in the changing room at after 12 a.m.? At this point, Kang Kang panicked and confessed, That's right, Sister Lian Ni told me to go into the changing room and just pick something out, so I went. People were gossiping behind me, just pick anything, how could that be? There were several new outfits in there that she hadn't even worn yet. How could she let you pick anything? The scheming Kang Kang retorted unhappily. What then? She glared hatefully at Lian Ni. Didn't she say everything in there was already worn by her and she didn't need it anymore? How could there be new stuff? But then the scheming woman suddenly turned pale and thought dejectedly. She figured out my plan, deliberately set me. Thinking of this, she shouted, Lian Ni, you tricked me. You dared to trick me. Lian Ni ignored her and said to the police, Officer, I think this matter is very clear now. Then, they, holding the metal cuffs, looked towards Kang Kang. That's right, Miss Su Kang Kang. Please come with us for a trip. She cried out in panic. No, I didn't steal anything. I'm not going with you. Actually, in her heart, she had already been planning, I want to be a person of Grandma's private residence. How could I allow a criminal record to be left? Having said that, Kang Kang immediately looked towards Feng Lan. Tears streamed down her face as she pitifully looked at him and whispered, Xinqiao, I really didn't steal anything. Can you help me? Yet Feng Lan coldly refused. The innocent are innocent. Once the police investigation is clear, they will release you. Kang Kang suddenly understood. That's right. Now all the evidence is pointing to me as the thief. How could he, a dignified Xiao Xiao, want to be involved with me? At this point, the scheming Kang Kang turned around and shouted loudly. Isn't it just an outfit? You want to arrest me for just one outfit? Several people next to her mocked. Just an outfit? How countrified. Every thread on this outfit is inlaid with the most precious diamonds and jewels, handcrafted by several dozen artisans over 3 months, and the market price is 30 million. Then, in an extremely satisfying scene, she walked in front of the scheming woman, pointed at her shoulder, and said each word with emphasis. You ruined a 30 million outfit. Shouldn't you be arrested? Kang Kang panicked and couldn't speak. Whoop! She helplessly let the police handcuff her, her heart in turmoil. 30 million. If I'm really convicted, how many years will I be locked up for? Then the scheming woman was escorted out the door by 2 handsome police officers and taken away. Upstairs, a young man who had been observing from beginning to end sighed. I didn't expect the illegitimate daughter of the Su family to be this kind of person. But then he paused when the person next to him didn't speak, only smiled slightly. Then, looking down at Lian Ni, he hesitantly opened his mouth. You should say, his eyes held a bit of delight as he continued. I didn't expect the eldest miss of the Su family to be this kind of person. Lian Ni, looking at Kang Kang being taken out the door, mocked in her heart, and called to the Little Pink. Your female-led system is not stable, the level is too low. Little Pink massaged her shoulders, flattering her and constantly praising. That's right, if we're talking about the level of White Lotus, it's still you, host. At this moment, someone called from behind, Su Lian Ni. Lian Ni turned around unhappily and looked at Feng Lan, full of displeasure. What's the matter? He awkwardly coughed a few times. Ahem, I misunderstood you just now, sorry. But then he acted aloof, looking at her unpleasantly. I can't really blame him though, who told her to do so many bad things normally. Being misunderstood is what she deserves. You should reflect on yourself, why you can't gain my trust. Lian Ni chuckled, covering her mouth and sneering, as if watching a joke. Then she calmly replied, See Feng Lan, may I ask if I ever said I needed your trust? With that, Lian Ni turned and left. Having a hole in your head is an illness. It needs treatment, or it's beyond saving in the late stages. Feng Lan, infuriated, shouted, A hole in the head? Are you scolding me? Halfway up the stairs, Qi Yuan, who had been waiting for a long time, called out, Lian Ni. She clearly didn't believe her eyes. Her girlish heart fluttered. He's waiting for me here. Then she secretly smiled cunningly, thinking, I know it. He must be apologizing for misunderstanding me. It's time to test my acting skills again. No sooner said than done. Big sister Lian Ni immediately got into character, tears streaming down her face, with the added bonus of lightly biting her lip in grievance. She avoided eye contact and softly called out, Brother. Qi Yuan hesitated. Lian Ni, I. But the words wouldn't come out. Why can't this mouth of mine say the words, I'm sorry? Just then, he gently stroked her head and softly said, Lian Ni, I wrongly blamed you. If it wasn't you who did it, why didn't you explain just now? Hearing this, Lian Ni replied with a wounded tone, Because I didn't want to explain. Because I thought that no matter what happened, you would trust me, you would stand on my side. With that, the A-list actress turned and walked away, only regretting that. It seems I was thinking too much. Big brother Qi Yuan frantically watched her go and called out, Lian Ni. Wu Shen came forward with 2 glasses of wine, right on cue, and asked, Young master, what happened? He hurriedly asked her, Wu Shen, I saw you searching for a needle and thread and scissors in the house a few days ago. What were they ultimately used for? She reluctantly hesitated to answer. Well, young master, it's not that I don't want to say, it's just that Miss deliberately instructed me not to tell you. Qi Yuan impatiently pressed further. Is there anything at the Su family that I can't know? Tell me, what were they ultimately used for? Wu Shen then replied. Young master, you should open your gun bag and see for yourself. He immediately opened it. Beside him, Wu Shen added, Miss said that your missions outside are very dangerous. She wanted to personally sew a good luck charm for you to pray for your safety. She also said that the good luck charm would only be effective if the person didn't know about it, forcing me not to tell you. At this moment, Qi Yuan's hand holding the charm slightly trembled. He was speechless, only staring intently at it. Wu Shen sadly continued, Young master, you don't know that the eldest young lady has lived a comfortable life since she was little. How would she ever touch this kind of needlework? She stayed up all night to make this good luck charm for you, and she pricked her fingers several times. It hurt me just to watch. Hearing this, handsome Qi Yuan already hated himself to the core, and he slammed his hand hard on his forehead. Lian Yi used needle and thread and scissors to make a good luck charm for me, and I actually misunderstood that she wanted to harm Su Qingqing. Su Qi Yuan, are you even human? A while later, in Su Lianhair's room, she happily removed her makeup while chatting with Little Hong. As expected, a bit of guilt can raise the affection level the most. Little Hong danced around excitedly. Host, you're too amazing! Not only did you get Su Qingqing arrested by the police, but you also managed to rapidly increase Qi Ziyuan's affection for you. You're truly my idol. Lian Cher winked playfully, giving Little Hong a high five, and proudly replied, That's a given. Even though I'm not targeting Xilan Feng, I promised you that I definitely wouldn't let Su Qingqing live well. Little Hong immediately chimed in with a cheerful wink. A promise is a promise. With that, she tapped the receive reward button. Now let's see what our stage reward is. Looking at the reward, what true breathing technique? Lianhair was confused. True breathing? What kind of skill is that? Little Hong replied shyly. This skill is quite special. It can adjust your heart rate and breathing state. Simply put, it can make your heart beat at 180 beats per minute, or as low as 20. Although it's quite absurd, it is the foundation of ancient martial arts, Lianhair began to consider. This skill isn't completely useless. The next day, Lianhair went down to the dining hall as usual. At this moment, Qi Ziyuan approached. He hesitantly spoke, Lianhair, about yesterday. She turned her face away in feigned anger. HMPH. Qi Ziyuan hesitated, pulling up a chair, looking at his difficult little sister, wondering how to apologize and appease Lianhair. At the same time, Wu Shen came over carrying a tray. Young master, your coffee. But before he could take it, someone snatched it away. The handsome guy was slightly surprised. Lianhair pouted unhappily and nagged. You drank alcohol at the party last night, and you still dare to drink coffee today. Aren't you afraid of a stomach ache? No coffee for you. Looking at the sulky little one, Qi Ziyuan surrendered, raising both hands helplessly. Okay, I'll listen to Lianhair and not drink it. Suddenly, someone called out, Young master, Si Yehan is here, he asked, puzzled. What's he doing here? But then Qi Ziyuan stood up. Lead him to the study, the butler replied. Yes. Then he looked at Lianhair, signaling, I'm going to discuss something. She didn't say much. Handing Qi Ziyuan a piece of bread, pretending not to care, she turned her face away. It's not good for your health to skip breakfast. Take this with you, he replied dotingly. Okay. Lian Cher smacked her lips, looking into the kitchen, and praised. This Wu Shen isn't bad. Outside, an irritated voice called out, Su Lianhair! It was Qing Qing, she shouted with her mouth wide open. Su Lianhair! You harmed me! Was it all your plan? Lian Ni indifferently replied. That's right, I harmed you. But if you hadn't initially thought of harming me first, how would I have had the chance to harm you? She resentfully raised her hand towards her. Sister, but just then, someone was seen coming from the stairs. Qing Qing began to act. Sister, why did you push me? Seeing this, Lian Ni mocked her acting skills. Using the same act every day without getting tired, does she think everyone's stupid? Thinking this, she demonstrated for her. The green tea BTCH, Qing Qing, stared blankly at her, lying motionless on the floor. What's going on? Qing Yuan quickly ran over, anxiously calling out, Lian Ni. He frantically hugged her. Lian Ni. Qi Yuan held her hand, secretly diagnosing, Lian Ni's heartbeat is so fast, this is too abnormal. Then he loudly glared at the green tea BTCH Qing Qing and yelled, Su Qing Qing, what exactly did you do? Her face paled as she stammered, I didn't do anything. I really didn't do anything. With her acting experience, Qing Qing secretly speculated, I just pretended to fall, and she fainted right after. The timing is too coincidental. Thinking of this, the green tea BTCH mustered all her courage and shouted, Su Lian Ni is faking it, eldest brother. You must believe me. She's not unconscious. She's pretending to be unconscious to deceive you. Qi Yuan looked at her with a sharp gaze. Faking it? Okay. Then he said through gritted teeth, word by word. Then next time, you also pretend to be in a coma with a heartbeat of 180 for me to see. Hearing this, Qing Qing was a little terrified. On this side, Qi Yuan carried Lian Ni and shouted loudly, Uncle Zhang, prepare the car. We're going to the hospital. She fell to the ground behind him. A heartbeat of 180. How is that possible? Above, Si Yehan had grasped the main point. So it's ancient martial arts breathing technique, the secretary next to him asked, puzzled. Sir, what are you talking about? His face was full of interest as he replied, it's nothing, the Susa family is indeed full of talents. Then he followed after Qi Yuan, saying, let's go see the fun too. On this side, he tried his best to run quickly towards the gate. A while later at the hospital, the doctor said in a guiding tone, Su Zhaoji's test results are in. According to the current situation, her health is very good. Perhaps she experienced intense emotional stimulation this time, leading to a rapid heartbeat and fainting. Hearing this, Qi Yuan's mood sank to the bottom. Becoming increasingly disgusted with the green tea by Lianhua, Qingqing, Sui Qingqing's return alone had already caused Lian Ni to be so agitated. How could she possibly endure if Sui Qingqing stayed long-term? Thinking this, he abruptly pulled out his phone. His voice was extremely cold as he said, Uncle Zhang, I want you to kick Su Qingqing out immediately. If Dad has any objections, just tell him it's Bai Lianhua's house, the Bai family's house. The person on the other end of the line frantically replied, yes, sir. At this moment, in the hospital room, Deji Lianni was lying quietly, but in her heart she was as happy as could be. Although this breathing technique didn't seem reliable, it was too amazing when used. It was truly a divine weapon for feigning a faint or weakness. Making a rough calculation, it was about time to wake up. Just then, Si Yehan, standing beside her, spoke up. All right, Su Zhaoji, your audience isn't present at the moment. You can rest for a bit now. Hearing him, she opened her eyes and looked at him. She thought in disbelief. He actually saw through everything. There was no fun in pretending anymore. Thinking of this, she pushed herself up to a sitting position. Why are you here? Where's my brother? Yethan casually replied, your brother went to discuss your condition with the doctor. As for why you're here, I'm just curious. Su Zhaoji, where did you learn the breathing technique that controls your heartbeat, which has been lost for so long? Lian Ni looked at him warily. What's his background? He even knows about this. Xiao Hong immediately provided information. Just a well-informed antagonist, only a minor character. Host doesn't need to pay attention to him. At this, Lian Ni's mouth unconsciously curved upwards. Even if he was a minor character, she couldn't let her image collapse. This was the quality of a Bai Lianhua. Then, she put on an innocent and endearing act, saying, Si Xiansheng, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been weak since I was born and can't take care of myself. It's very reasonable for me to faint at the slightest thing. Yet, handsome guy Yihan let out an amused chuckle. He stroked his chin and began a series of questions. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just wondering why someone as interesting as Su Xiaoji would like my foolish nephew, Si Fenglam. Suddenly, Daji Lian Ni asked a shocking question. Si Jiansheng, did you ever wet the bed when you were little? He hesitated and asked, why are you asking that? Lian Ni calmly replied, perhaps I should ask, do you still wet the bed now? And the answer is, of course not. Lian Ni began to explain seriously. Then that's right. Just like children wet the bed when they're young, but they don't anymore when they grow up. I was blind when I was little, so I liked Si Fengnan. Now that I'm grown up and have my wits about me, of course I won't like him anymore. Yehan seemed genuinely impressed with her, smiling throughout. Su Zhaoji, you truly are a peculiar person. Suddenly, Deji Lianni spotted movement at the main door, and immediately laid down, Big Brother is back. Qi Yuan hastily entered, calling out worriedly, Lian. She immediately put on an act, saying weakly, brother, you're back. Yehan, behind her, secretly laughed. HMPH. Her acting sick is truly skilled. Qi Yuan was still very worried, looking at her caringly and asking, Lian Ni, do you feel a little better? She looked at him pitifully and replied, I feel much better now, cough cough, don't worry about me. He coldly added from the side, I was careless this time, I underestimated Su Qingqing's annoyance, but rest assured, I've already told her to move out. You won't see her again in the future. Hearing this, Lian Ni was slightly surprised. Su Qingqing has already been kicked out. Then, she looked at him and asked, what about Dad's side, did he blame you? Qi Yuan frowned slightly, replying unhappily, don't worry about him, this house belongs to Mom, he has no right to be in charge. Lian Ni's mind was racing, and she suddenly realized, that's right, everything that Su Aoheng has now belongs to Bai Qingyue. What do I have to worry about? Then, she reached out and took the glass of water from him. Afterward, she looked at Qi Yuan gently and said happily, Big Brother, you're so good. Being praised so suddenly caused handsome guy's face to flush red. He awkwardly turned his face away. It's nothing. Yehan, who couldn't stop smiling, tried to hide it, but to no avail. Sorry, you two continue. Don't mind me. Daji Lian-ni, who was already fuming behind him, but she still couldn't show it on the outside, and could only force a smile. Daji screamed internally, "Ah! Can someone please come and take this annoying person away?" 3 days later, Lian-ni looked at the system panel and thought to herself, "I've been in the hospital for 3 whole days, and my neck is getting stiff, but how have I only gained 5 points? Didn't I used to get 10 points each time?" Little Hong happily slid down the railing and replied, "Of course, it gets harder to earn points later on. Being able to get 5 points is already great." She couldn't hide her joy, covering her face and laughing gleefully. "No way." At this moment, Wu Shen walked over with a cheerful demeanor. "Finally, Mrs. Back. Is your health better? I'll go cook you a bowl of bird's nest porridge," Lian-ni replied. "No need, Sister Wu. I already ate outside with my elder brother." Then she asked hesitantly, "But has Su Qing moved out already?" Mentioning her made Wu Shen visibly uncomfortable, and she recounted, "The person has moved out, but the apartment she's living in now is also property under Madam's name. Madam shouldn't have given the spare key to Su Aoheng in the first place. Now that little thing is benefiting." Lian-ni looked at Wu Shen and comforted her. "Alright, don't be angry anymore. At least she's not in the Su family house now. Let's talk about the house later." Speaking of this, she suddenly remembered. "Oh right. Wasn't elder brother's birthday last month?" Wu Shen replied softly. "Yes, at that time, the young master was still on a mission. Outside, I don't know if anyone celebrated his birthday for him." Lian-ni had a plan in her heart. "Oh, isn't this a good opportunity to earn some favorability points?" A while later, she arrived at the shopping center. The manager respectfully bowed and said, "Miss Su, I apologize. The VIPs on the 2nd floor are shopping, so we can't serve you for the time being." Lian-ni didn't make things difficult and replied, "It's okay, then I'll take a stroll outside first." Seeing her like that, the manager smiled and continued, "Yes, please." Then Lian-ni pointed to the glass case and said, "This watch isn't bad. Please wrap it up for me and write a birthday card as well." At the same time, Feng Lan walked out from inside and exclaimed in surprise, "Tang Lian-ni, what are you doing at a men's clothing store? Don't tell me." Saying this, he gritted his teeth in anger. "You're stalking me." Hearing that, the boss lady, Lian-ni, wanted to turn to stone on the spot. "Huh, my baby needs an oxygen tank urgently, please. How can there be someone so narcissistic in this world?" She stubbornly retorted quickly, "Which eye of yours saw that?" But suddenly someone called from behind, "Sir, are you satisfied with this suit?" When the scumbag turned around, he met the scumbag woman's eyes. He blurted out, "Su Qing, why are you here? Are you working?" She acted innocent and replied, After being kicked out of the Tang family, my dad gave me a house to live in, but I don't want to just sit around and wait to be fed, so I want to work and earn money to pay my dad rent." Feng Lan was clearly moved by this act and stared at her. What a special girl with such independent thinking, a girl who even tries to pay rent while living in her dad's house. How could she steal a dress and frame someone else? Surely there was a misunderstanding last time. Thinking of this, Feng Lan said with conviction, "I believe you." Seeing the farce before her, Lian-ni couldn't help but burst out laughing. Then she reached out to the green tea and said, "Paying rent, right? Then hurry up and give me the money." The green tea panicked and said, My dad's house, what does it have to do with you?" Lian-ni acted surprised and replied, "Oh, didn't Tang Aoheng tell you? The apartment you're living in is my mother's dowry." Qing stepped back in disbelief. "Then, so to speak, it wouldn't be a problem for you to give the rent money to a daughter like me." Her face full of authority, she added, "Don't worry, I know your salary isn't high, so I won't charge you much. I'll only charge you 30,000. Qing began to switch to a pitiful, frightened lamb expression. "Do you really want to treat me like this?" Feng Lam, ever the valiant white knight, heroically shields the beauty, and Su Lianjie has the nerve. "A girl who only knows how to spend the family's money like you, what right do you have to demand rent from Qing?" She tugged at his sleeve, whispering, "Feng Lam." Lian Quer looked disdainfully at the green tea BTCH and scumbag prince, saying, "See Feng Lam, what right do you have to talk to me?" Then she grabbed the hem of his shirt and sneered, "I only know how to spend the family's money. What about you? From head to toe, is there anything you own that doesn't rely on your family's money?" The scumbag prince retorted with a light snarl, grinding his teeth in anger. "You?" At this moment, the gift-wrapping manager came out. "Miss Su, your gifts are ready." The scumbag prince forcefully snatched the bag from the manager's hand. He smirked and said, I was wondering why you came to a men's store, so you wanted to give me a gift again, but because I hate you so much, I don't want anything you give me. He waved the gift bag back and forth in front of Lian Tier, sneering, then added, I don't want any of it. Faced with the scumbag prince's ugly grin, Lian Hauker decisively pulled out the card from the bag, holding it close to Feng Lam's face. She looked at him mockingly. Who said it was for you? You're really thick-skinned. As she put the card back in the bag, she said calmly, also, about you wanting to cancel the engagement, how far along are you in discussing it with your family? Then Lian Tier decisively left. If you want to break off the engagement, hurry up and do it. Don't just blab all day long, wasting this young lady's time. Feng Lam gritted his teeth and glared at her. That little BTCH Su Liancher actually dares to look down on me, and even urges me to break off the engagement. The fresh green tea Ching Ching immediately seized the opportunity and choked out soothing words. Feng Lam, don't be angry. She's acting like that because she likes you too much. Feng Lam immediately turned to look at her. What do you mean? Ching Ching replied. I just accidentally overheard her talking to her best friend. I heard her say that she had been pursuing you for a long time without success and didn't know what to do. Her friend then told her to try reverse psychology, he repeated, not understanding. Reverse psychology. At this, the scumbag prince laughed gleefully. So she really went to great lengths to get me. But no matter what trick she uses, I definitely won't like her. Ching Ching secretly triumphed. Su Lianguer, I underestimated you before. Now, don't even think about snatching Si Feng Lam from my hands. At this moment, in a VIP room, Ye Han leaned against the wall, smiling contentedly as he watched Lian Care. Every time I see her, I find something amusing. Someone called him from behind. Ye Han, don't just stand there daydreaming. Come over here and try on some ties. Which of these two do you like? He sighed helplessly and replied, Aunt, I don't care about these things. Just buy whichever one you like. She grasped the key point and asked, So you don't care about ties, but what about a lover? Why are you so picky about a lover? I've already chosen over a dozen people for you, all kinds of types. Why don't you like any of them? Yi Han helplessly supported his forehead. Aunt, I don't want to think about these things for now. Besides, you know what the sick family is like. I don't want others to follow in my mother's footsteps, she continued worriedly. But you can't not get married your whole life because of those wretched people in the sick family. The two of them walked out arm in arm, and she added, There will be a girl who is suitable for you, who will help you deal with the Xia family together. Ye Han smiled and replied, Suitable? How could there be? But then, the image of Lian Care flashed in his mind. Seeming pleased, he stroked his chin and thought, If it's her, maybe it's not just suitable, but also enough to piss off those old fogies in the silly family. At this moment, in the shopping mall parking lot, Lian Ni was fumbling to find her warhorse, thinking she remembered parking it over there. Suddenly, she noticed the person sitting in the car next to hers. It was Ye Han, he said harmlessly. Miss Su, do you have time to talk? Lian Ni suspiciously stroked her chin, thinking, what could these two side characters have to talk about? Then she lightly pushed up her glasses and replied, Sorry, Fourth Master, I have things to do today, maybe next time. Seeing Lian Ni leave, Ye Han hastily called out, Miss Su, don't you want to know how to get Si Feng Lan to call off the engagement? Indeed, opinions change easily. 10 minutes later, little Lian Ni was already sitting in his car. Speak, what's the way? A jumble of thoughts raced through her head. In the story, Su Lingni only broke off the engagement with Si Feng Lan much later, and they even ended up sleeping together in between. Ugh, this detestable marriage. The sooner it's annulled, the better. Ye Han then spoke up. It's very simple. Miss Su just needs to say that she already has a boyfriend. Lian Ni laughed leisurely and retorted, Please, this isn't some ordinary marriage. The Seal family is eyeing the Bai family's assets, and with the power and influence of my 5 older brothers, even my own father needs help from the Sickle family. Do you think they'll let go of such a juicy piece of meat like me, just because I say I have a boyfriend? Ye Han grasped the main point and replied, If Miss Su's boyfriend is just an ordinary person, of course they wouldn't agree. But what if that person is someone the Xiao family doesn't dare to touch? Someone who, to your father, would be an even more worthwhile partner. Lian Ni looked at him curiously and asked, Is there even such a person? Ye Han confidently and reliably blurted out, I am. Hearing this, Lian Ni fell silent, not quite catching the rhythm. Then, overreacting, she grabbed him and yelled, See Ye Han, you want an old bull to graze on young grass. Ye Han stammered and coughed. Although my seniority is higher than Si Feng Lan's, I'm really only 4 years older than you. Lian Ni asked in horror. So you really want to keep me? Ye Han ran out of words. Then, he composed himself and explained, Miss Su, You don't need to worry too much, I just need you to act in a play with me. I need a fiancé, and you just happen to want to get rid of your fiancé. We both have things we need. Lian Ni probed as she leaned in. She began to straighten up, seriously thinking, if that's the case, this method has a very high chance of success. Moreover, Xin Yehan looks just as abstinent as his nephew. If I act with him, he'll probably know his limits, right? Yehan added a fatal sentence. Moreover, as my fiancé, Si Fenglan will have to call you aunt in the future. Big sister Lian Nai was already ecstatic at the thought of that scumbag bowing his head and calling her aunt. Sounds pretty good, huh? At this point, Lian Ni adjusted her hair and smiled sinisterly. Then looking at him, I asked what benefits I would get if I agreed, he replied. Benefits? Lian Ni smiled brightly, her face clearly showing her love for money, and continued. That's right. After all, you came up with this plan. Consider it as you needing my help. Shouldn't you give me some compensation? Yehan sighed helplessly. How much do you want? Lian Ni smiled gleefully and replied. That depends on Celia's sincerity. Yehan surprisingly laughed with amusement. All right. Then he extended his hand towards her and sincerely said, I hope we have a pleasant cooperation. The two of them thus made a deal. Lian Ni looked at him with credibility. Happy cooperation. Soon after, her phone received a notification of a balance change. Lian Ni leisurely sat down and counted the zeros. 100 million? Her eyes lit up as she exclaimed, 600 million? She smiled gleefully, looking at the lovely number in her account. Si Yehan's sincerity is quite a lot, huh? Little Hong then spoke up, reminding her, do you really want to cooperate with Si Yehan? If so, you and Si Fenglan really won't have any hope left. Lian Ni shook it and explained. Isn't your ultimate goal to make Su Qingqing's life miserable? I'm also helping you fulfill your dream. It agitatedly broke free and retorted. Liar, Su Qingqing's biggest wish is to be with Si Fenglan. She voluntarily broke up. She's probably overjoyed right now. Lian Ni hugged little Hong to comfort it. Think about it. She's dating Si Fenglan for the Si family status. If Si Yehan destroys the Si family, wouldn't Su Qingqing be left with nothing? Isn't that even more delightful? It was moved and replied. It seems to be true. She pinched its cheek and added. That's right. This afternoon, after giving a gift to the eldest brother, the affection level still didn't increase at all. Little Hong happily jumped up and down. It increased. It increased. It increased to 30. And there's a new skill too. The two of them looked at the information panel in a daze. She questioned. This new skill is also, it continued, not very White Lotus-like, huh? Lian Ni looked at it dejectedly and asked. Is it saying that my strength will be greater than before? But she only lightly touched the iron bar, and it left 5 finger marks on it. Looking at the result she created, she felt helpless. I didn't even use any force. It's already bent like this, it angrily said. Too violent, not at all like a Mary Sue female lead. Lian Ni didn't reject this skill, only looked at her hands. Although it was a bit rough, it was very useful. At least she wouldn't be afraid in fights later. At this moment, someone knocked on the door outside. She flusteredly straightened the iron bar and said, Come in. It was Wu Shen, panicking as she reported. Master, Su Aoheng has brought Su Qingqing back. Lian Ni calmly replied. Isn't he in America with Chua Huiru for treatment? Why is he back so soon? She continued. Chu Huiru, Su Aoheng's first love and Qingqing's mother, isn't it because Su Qingqing complained? Su Aoheng was furious when he found out she was kicked out, and it just so happened that Chu Huiru's surgery was done and she was recovering, so he made a special trip back. Speaking of this, she sighed. But master, even though Su Aoheng has wronged you, he's still your father after all. We should avoid conflict with him. Lian Ni explained seriously. Aunt Wu, it's not that I want to conflict with him, but that he will definitely come to settle scores with me. Soon after, Aoheng kicked the door open and barged in. He shouted loudly, Tang Ai Ning, get out here now. Wu Shen called out softly. Master, he angrily retorted, get out. Then, Aoheng looked at her with disdain. Seeing a hint of her mother in her face, he gnashed his teeth in hatred. She's as detestable as her mother. Aoheng pointed at her commandingly and yelled, Tang Ai Ning, who do you think you are, daring to kick Qingqing out of the house? The green tea BTCH beside him acted perfectly, hugging his arm. Dad, I made elder sister unhappy so she kicked me out. It's my fault, Dad, don't blame her. Aoheng felt sorry for her, and whispered while wiping her tears. Good girl, don't cry. Then, he changed his attitude, and looked at Lian Ni with disgust. Look at yourself, how much have you tormented your younger sister? How can you be an elder sister and not yield to your younger sister? But then a question arose in his mind. Strange. Before, when I scolded her like this, she would have been furious. Why is there no reaction now? At the same time, Little Pink offered an incentive. New mission: seduce your father, Su Aoheng, and become the beloved daughter he cherishes the most. Lian Ni was truly unwilling. Excuse me, what's the point of seducing him? It replied calmly. There's no point, but Su Aoheng is Su Qingqing's biggest backer. If we can seduce him, then Su Qingqing will definitely be hurt. Lian Ni didn't bother to care. I don't care whether she gets hurt or not. I don't do things that aren't beneficial to me. Seeing that she was ignoring him, Aoheng became even more angry. I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me? Lian Ni exerted her strength and flipped the table next to her. She shouted loudly, What's with all the noise in the middle of the night? Don't people need to sleep? Little Pink was startled and covered its mouth in fear. Oh my God, so strong. Forget it, forget it. I'm just a small system. I'm not worthy of managing the host. Aoheng scolded in rage, rebellious, daring to flip the table. She looked at him disdainfully and provocatively. So what? This whole house belongs to my mother. If I'm happy, I'll flip whatever I want. Do you have a problem with that? He angrily blurted out. Wicked spawn. Lian Ni, unwilling to back down, pointed at his shoulder and rebuked. Get your illegitimate daughter out of my room now, or don't blame me for hitting both of you. Aoheng, needless to say, was so enraged that he raised his hand to slap her. You ungrateful brat! A crisp, cracking sound was his response. She roared back fiercely. What do you think you're going to do to me? Let's see if you have the guts. Then she disdainfully pushed him away forcefully. Aoheng trembled in anger but still roared. You just wait. See how I deal with you next time I come back. Wu Shen came over at this moment. Madam, I saw the master take Qingqing away. He didn't make things difficult. Oh my God, what happened? Lian Ni looked up at her. Sister Wu, come here quickly. Help me find where my makeup went. Wu Shen didn't have time to react. Time passed by just like that. On Qi Yuan's side, he was still on a mission. All right, I understand. Lao Zhang whispered at this moment. Young master, the master, he... Hearing this, he panicked. What? He went to cause trouble for Lian Ni? You respond, yes, it seems like there's a dispute. I'm standing outside and I can still hear loud noises. At this, Qi Yuan sprung up and walked out. Damn it! He rushed to her room and called out loudly. Lian Ni, what's wrong? She, not knowing since when, had become extremely disheveled, crouching on the ground. Her hand even happened to be cut, bleeding. Qi Yuan rushed over worriedly. What are you doing? She was still lost in a distant, blank stare. He held her shoulders and pressed. Are you okay? Your hand is injured, Lian Ni replied blankly. I just want to piece the fragments of this perfume bottle back together. Then she handed the broken bottle towards him. Qi Yuan said with heartache. It's just a perfume bottle. Is it worth it? Lian Ni shouted excitedly. This isn't just an ordinary perfume bottle. This is the birthday present you gave me. Hearing this, he suddenly froze. Her eyes showed a clear sense of loss as she added, It was the birthday gift you had your assistant send last year. Qi Yuan recalled the past when the assistant by his side detailed the situation. The target's location has been sent to your receiver. Someone will take you to the location later, he replied. Okay. Then the assistant added, Oh right, boss. Next week is your sister's birthday. Would you like to prepare a gift for her? At that time, Qi Yuan said indifferently, Choose a gift and send it to her. Remembering this, a sense of guilt surged within him. A perfunctory birthday gift, yet Lian Ni treasured it like a precious jewel. What kind of person am I? Xiao Hong quietly announced her achievement. Ding. Congratulations, host. Su Qi Yuan's affection for you has increased again. Your favorability rating has now increased to 35. Lian Ni secretly gloated. Not bad, it seems this injury wasn't in vain. Qi Yuan gently took out a handkerchief and said caringly, Let the family doctor treat your wound quickly. As he instructed, he bandaged it for her. And this perfume, if you like it, I'll have someone buy it for you. Don't hurt yourself again. Lian Ni happily asked, Really? You'll give me another gift? Qi Yuan responded indulgently, Yes. Suddenly, he noticed Lian Ni's cheek. Wait, what happened to your face? She tried to cover it up, replying, It's nothing, Qi Yuan said angrily. It was Su Aoheng, wasn't it? A murderous intent flashed in his eyes as he cursed inwardly. Damn it, I should have thought of it sooner. How could he easily let Lian Ni go like that? Then he went out with a cold face. Remember to treat the wound. At this moment, Lian Ni secretly rejoiced as she picked up a tissue. As she wiped her face, she thought, Although I wasn't actually hit, it's true that Su Aoheng wanted to hit me. It's not wronging him to put on this act. At this time, Aoheng angrily scolded repeatedly. What exactly is wrong with Su Lianni? Not only does she speak differently than before, but she's also become so bold. Qing sobbed beside him, adding fuel to the fire. It's my fault, I must have made her angry. That's why she's changed so much. He stepped forward to comfort his beloved daughter. How could it be your fault? She's just being willful and daring to threaten me. Don't worry, I will definitely kick this kind of woman out of the house and not let her be so willful again. Qi Yuan stepped down from the stairs and said in a stern voice, the ones who should leave this house are the two of you. He, unafraid, scolded loudly. How dare you talk to me like that? I'm your father, Qi Yuan warned in a dark tone. If it weren't for our blood relation, do you think you could be standing here unharmed? I don't care whether you protect your illegitimate daughter or not, but you shouldn't have laid a hand on Lianni today. Aoheng immediately denied it. What nonsense are you talking about? When did I lay a hand on her? What exactly did Lianni say to you? That ungrateful Lianni threatened to hit me. How could I hit her? Qi Yuan turned a deaf ear and said coldly, there's a limit to lying. Lianni is frail and sickly. She can't even open a bottle cap. How could she hit you? Qing immediately complained from behind. Big brother, everything he said is true. Su Liange really threatened us. We know our limits and never hit her. But Qi Yuan angrily interrupted. Enough. He pointed at the father and daughter, warning. Su Aoheng, I'll say this one last time. Take your illegitimate daughter and get out of my mother's house immediately. If you utter another word to slander Lian Ser, don't blame me for being impolite. How could he dare to linger? He could only leave resentfully, not forgetting to curse. Fine, I'll leave. I wouldn't want to be with such ill-mannered people like you anyway, Qi Yuan said darkly from behind. By the way, I've already had someone change the password to my mother's apartment in the city center. After all, it's one of her favorite properties. I hope there aren't 3, let alone 4, unclean people inside. Immediately, Qing frantically grabbed Aoheng's hand. Dad, can't I go back to my apartment anymore? Where are we gonna go now? He sullenly replied. Anywhere is fine, we don't need to freeload off them anyway. As for Lian Keir, she asked curiously, the assets under Su Aoheng's name are all from my mother. If he doesn't go to the Bai family, where else can he go? Wu Shen recounted. I heard they ended up staying at a hotel. Lian Hair smiled gleefully, picking up a strawberry. Oh, his hotel money is from my mother's dowry. All right, there's an opening ceremony tomorrow. I need to study beforehand. You can head out first, Lian Keir said. Wu Shen replied, yes, she sighed helplessly. Even if I'm blind, I shouldn't be able to score only 6 points. Bei Hong appeared to comfort her. Don't be sad. Just wait until your exam tomorrow. I estimate you won't even be able to get 6 points. Lian Kergir was speechless. The next day, at the Zhongguo Business School, Lian He diligently read her book. The teacher spoke from above. For the opening ceremony, to prevent everyone from forgetting the knowledge points from last semester, let's have a simple opening exam. Just do your best. Lian He confidently thought, I studied all night yesterday. I'll definitely do well, Bei Hong encouraged without much hope. Then, good luck. But just on the first question, our big sister was already scratching her head in frustration. Help, I clearly just reviewed this yesterday. How can't I remember it? Bei Hong reminded her from the side. Forget it. You're a bottom-tier student now. No matter how hard you study, you'll still get 0 points. Time passed, and Lian Greer motivated herself without giving up. Su Lian Greer, I absolutely won't admit defeat. But in the end, she could only hug her head and scream, ah, I hate this. At this moment, someone came over to mock her. Look at how hard Su Lianier is trying. Who are you trying to fool? You just started the quiz, and this drama is already quite a show. It was Fang Ziyu, the rich second generation who admires Xia Fenglan. Qing stepped in to smooth things over. Forget it, Ziyu, you shouldn't disturb sister taking the test. Sister has been busy looking for young master Xi Fenglan all summer vacation. She didn't have time to study at all, so the exam is definitely much harder for her than it is for us. Hitting her sore spot, she angrily slammed her hand on the computer. Su Lian Gaier, I think you're really becoming more and more shameless, Fenglan. Gerge clearly said he doesn't like you. Why do you still want to cling to him? Lian Recker looked at her pampered hand and pondered. Coincidentally, wasn't I just thinking about how to avoid getting 0 points? Now is the time. So the big sister fumbled on the keyboard and lightly shut down the computer. Ziyu, who was being set up, was still trying to act tough. Didn't you hear what I said? Then Lian Hair's intense acting erupted, and she shouted loudly, Feng Xingyu, why did you break my computer? The teacher then walked over and asked sternly, What are you doing? Tang Lian you're the only one in the class who hasn't submitted the paper. What exactly happened? Lian immediately raised evidence to accuse Xingyu. Professor, I just finished it and was about to submit it, but Fang Xingyu suddenly came and broke my computer. Look, Professor. The computer screen is all black now. Lian immediately raised evidence to accuse Xingyu. Professor, I just finished it and was about to submit it, but Fang Xingyu suddenly came and broke my computer. Look, Professor. The computer screen is all black now. Then she looked at Lian and said loudly, Tang Lian your dilapidated computer is of such poor quality. Lian calmly replied, This is the computer provided by the schools. The teacher angrily shouted, Enough! Even if you have conflicts with your classmates, you are not allowed to do this, Fang Ziyu. You get 0 points for this exam. As for Tang, speaking to that point, he turned around and, looking at Lian continued, For this exam, I will use the class average to calculate your grade. Lian was overjoyed and immediately replied, Thank you, Professor. Xingyu, unconvinced, looked at his departing back and asked again, What? I worked so hard on the exam and I only get 0 points. Big sister Lian got something for nothing, happily brushed past her. Then, teasingly turning back, she winked at Xingyu. Fang Xingyu, thanks a lot this time, she blankly asked. Ching, am I being schemed against by Tang Lian Ching didn't reply but was already furious inside. What a truly useless teammate. Lian quickly returned home and she immediately threw her bag down. Lying straight on the bed, she comfortably said, Finally, school's over. I didn't think going to school would be so difficult. Then she took out her phone to check. Then she was no longer happy but said in frustration, You've got to be kidding me. There's still homework. Lian silently accepted, hugging her chest in resentment. Now I'm just a loser. Everything I invest in loses money. It seems like this homework assignment is definitely going to be a 0-2. At this point, Lian suddenly sat up and stared intently at her phone. Speaking of investment, Si Yehan sent 60 million before. I don't even know how things are going. Lian stared wide-eyed at the balance, shocked. How am I supposed to write a report? Didn't I give the money to the fund manager? How could I still buy so much at a loss? Seeing her tears falling, Xiaohong comforted her. It's useless. As long as this money is yours, you're destined to lose it all. Lian unlucky, secretly resented, so I'm destined to become a poverty-stricken ghost. At this moment, Wu Shen outside the hallway said, Young miss, second young master is back. Lian immediately looked out. Second young master? That's my second brother who's in charge of our family's fortune. She quickly ran out to greet him, but before she could even get close, she was blinded by his aura. What? So dazzling? In the distance, bodyguards stood solemnly in front of the car door. A pampered foot, soaked in the scent of money, stepped out of the car. It was exactly Tang Yanqin, who went from having empty hands to becoming a magnate, a handsome and wealthy guy. A secretary would always be beside him, reporting on work. President Tang, I've talked with Alpha. They don't want to budge on the contract details. They want to discuss it via video call with you. Yanqin just smiled lightly and replied, Discuss? Then he leisurely walked inside and coldly added, No need to discuss. Directly notify the department to acquire Alpha. The assistant froze for a moment. He turned back to add, I'll let them know that in my, Su Yanqin's, dictionary, there's no such thing as negotiation. Lian Ni clapped her hands excitedly. I've long heard that second brother Su Yanqin is the CEO of Beaking. Today I've finally seen it. He's truly the Dragon Aocean from the CEO romance novels, the ultimate Dragon Aocean. However, the most important thing is that as long as I get a little guidance, I can strongly escape my fate of being dirt poor. Thinking this, she grabbed her laptop and ran off, excitedly shouting in her head, The God of Wealth has arrived! The God of Wealth has arrived! At this moment, in the study, Su Yanqin asked his secretary, Did Talent magazine appear during the visit last time? The secretary replied, Number. Lian Ni peeked her head in from outside and called out, Second brother. Yanqin turned around and asked, Why are you here? She honestly replied, Well, my school has assigned practical homework. A small, short-term investment portfolio needed to observe profits after 2 weeks. Then, with a sincere expression, she added, I don't understand these things, so I wanted to come and ask for your advice, second brother. Yanqin nonchalantly turned and walked away. I don't have time to teach you. Then he handed her a stack of documents. If you want to learn, read it yourself. Lian Ni smiled brightly and continued, Thank you, second brother. Can I stay in your study to read them? Yanqin indifferently uttered. Whatever. Lian Ni happily hummed as she perused the documents. Yanqin secretly speculated, Su Lian Ni is always impatient. I reckon she'll give up in less than 3 minutes. But a full 2 hours later when he looked up, he was surprised. She's still studying. Yankin curiously asked, do you understand? Lian Ni confidently turned back and replied, of course I understand. She leaned forward on the sofa, smiling, and said, brother, who wrote this plan? It's really too detailed. Whether it's risk control or setting up defenses, it's all very perfect. Bold decisions, straightforward, and carefully executed. It's a perfect investment plan. Hearing this, Yankin coughed awkwardly. All right, there's no need to exaggerate so much. Of course, there is a standard to it. But then she turned around and sat up straight, flipping back to the first page. From now on, this person will be my idol. But why can't I see the author's name? Lian Ni paused, then excitedly exclaimed with a beaming smile, here it is, I've found the author's name. Printed on it was the line, Investor, Su Yanqin. Then, she closed the book and looked admiringly at Yanqin. Brother, is this strategy book written by you? But inside, she was secretly laughing triumphantly, thinking, my surprise is just an act. His face already flushed, he avoided her gaze and replied, yes, don't you want to learn about investing? Instead of reading all that random stuff written by others, why not read what I wrote? Liken looked at him with sparkling eyes and said, brother, you're truly amazing. Her ceaseless praises made big brother Yanqin so embarrassed he didn't know what to say. Then she hugged the book and asked, so brother, can I take this strategy book home to study it more carefully? He calmly replied, go ahead and take it. Lian looked happily at Yanqin. Thank you, brother. When the secretary walked in and saw her happily walking out, he was surprised. He closed the door and cautiously asked, CEO Su, haven't you always disliked the young lady? How come you talked for so long this time? Yanqin honestly continued, now I realize my younger sister, it seems, isn't as hateful as I thought. As soon as she got back to her room, she put the book down. She immediately called out, Little Red, system, quickly check the favorability level. It immediately appeared. Coming, Little Red happily celebrated and announced, your wealth fortune has increased by 10. Congratulations, you've finally escaped the fate of bankruptcy. Lian excitedly clapped her hands. Wow, it seems I don't need to worry about being utterly ruined anymore. I hope Su Yanqin can stay idle for a few more days, so I can capture him even more. She happily lay down on the bed, murmuring, get rich, make a fortune, looking forward to it every day. Little Red seriously reminded her, don't get too happy too soon. The further you go, the harder the capture will be. You can flatter him once, but if you do it again, I'm afraid Su Yanqin will become immune. Lian poked its cheek and replied, don't worry, I'll show the system my talent for flattery. The next day, while Lian was putting on makeup, Aunt Wu behind her said worriedly, young lady, Si Feng Nan has arrived. She unhappily asked, what's he here for? She pointed towards the door and continued, I saw him angrily heading towards the second young master's room. He's probably looking for the second young master. Lian was secretly delighted. Looking for Su Yanqin, it seems another capture opportunity has appeared. Meanwhile, Si Fengnan furiously slammed his hand on the table. He loudly questioned, Su Yanqin, what do you mean by this? My family set its sights on that business order first. Why did you snatch our deal? Yanqin, finding the accusation absurd, asked back, snatch? Then he laughed mockingly and looked at him. It's merely fair competition. Don't say such unpleasant things, Si Fengnan immediately retorted. Your company offered a higher price than us, and you call that fair competition. Don't you forget, the Sim family and the Su family have an engagement. You snatching business like this, aren't you afraid it will affect the relationship between our two families? Yanqin interrupted him unhappily. I'm sorry, the Su family is the Su family, and I am me. Besides, haven't you always wanted to dissolve the engagement with Lian Ni? Suddenly, he looked at him with a cold face, his overwhelming aura enunciating each word. Why bring up the Sula family's relationship now? Feng Lam, frustrated, could only turn and leave, gritting his teeth to warn, just you wait. Then he slammed the door shut in anger. When he went outside, he ran into Lian Ni. Looking at her leisurely, he uncomfortably called out, Su, Lian Ni. He said self-importantly, what are you doing here? Are you trying to attract my attention? The more Feng Lam spoke, the angrier he became, pointing at her. Let me tell you, no matter how good you pretend to be, I won't fall for it, Lian Ni interrupted with a cold face. See Feng Lam, which eye of yours saw me trying to attract your attention? Feng Lam continued self-importantly, using the give them enough rope trick again. It won't work, I've seen through it already. Then he scolded in frustration. You're vicious, just like your second brother. People like you make me sick to look at. Lian Ni angrily intended to retort immediately. You! But she spotted Yanqin standing right at the door. Huh, second brother. Lian Ni immediately switched to A-list actress mode and retorted, I've already said you're not allowed to talk about my second brother. My second brother is handsome and generous with unparalleled charisma, extremely intelligent and kind. He's the best person in the world. I won't allow you to insult him. Hearing this, Yanqin wondered suspiciously, am I that good in her heart? Feng Lam paused, then asked in a low voice, why are you protecting him like that? Are you in love with him? Lian Ni immediately retorted, who said, I don't like my second brother. I just hate that I'm not good enough. Someone uneducated like me, how could I be worthy of such an outstanding second brother? That's why I pretended not to care about my brother before. It's because I didn't want him to be looked down upon because he has a younger sister like me. Hearing this, Feng Lam was shocked. Huh? But then he suddenly realized that he was overreacting, and he coughed to cover up his embarrassment. Then he scolded loudly again. I don't care whether you're worthy of Su Yanqin or not, but in short, a woman like you isn't worthy of Si Feng Lam like me. At this time, Yanqin stepped out and said in a domineering voice, who are you saying isn't worthy? Feng Lam stammered guiltily. I'm talking about Su Lianni. Yanqin enunciated each word, looking at him unhappily. Not worthy. Then let me see. Who exactly is not worthy of whom? Turning to his secretary, he instructed, tell the investment department to short sell all the companies under Si Feng Lam's name right now and buy all the cooperative partners of his company so that they stop cooperating with Si Feng Lam. Finally, Yanqin looked at him with a mocking smile. I want Si Feng Lam's company, all of it, to go bankrupt today. Feng Lam was clearly panicking to the extreme, even as Yanqin brushed past him. Feng Lam still strained his neck to shout, Su Yanqin, you're out of your mind. Standing behind Lian he coldly sneered. Right now, you don't have a penny to your name. Let's see who exactly is unworthy of whom. Feng Lam laughed triumphantly, still thinking he was impressive. But Yanqin calmly said, short selling doesn't benefit you at all. You have to put in a large sum of money. So what? I don't lack money anyway. At this, Feng Lam was so angry he couldn't speak. You! Just then, his grandfather called. As soon as he answered, the man barked a string of accusations. What's wrong with your company? The stock is plummeting, and several contracts have been canceled. Get your ass back here and deal with it for me. He fearfully and cautiously replied. I understand, Grandpa. I'll be right there. Feng Lam, oblivious to the immensity of the situation, loudly cursed. This debt, Si Feng Lam will get it back sooner or later. Then, he hurriedly left. At this moment, Lian timidly asked Yanqin, Big brother, did you hear everything I just said? He nodded. Yeah, I heard it all. Lian started to act embarrassed and evasive. Yanqin affectionately patted her head. All right, I've taken care of this matter for you, but remember, don't say things like, you're not worthy of being my sister anymore. You're my sister. Blood is thicker than water. That will never change. Lian touched, and with tears in her eyes, softly replied. Okay. The secretary beside him spoke up to remind him, President Su, we're going to be late for the meeting. Before leaving, Yanqin turned back to look at her and instructed, stay home these next few days. If you don't understand anything in your practical assignments, you can come ask me. Lian obediently waved in response. Okay, big brother, have a safe trip. Little Hong immediately popped up to celebrate. Wow, host, you're amazing. Su Yanqin's favorability towards you has increased from 10 to 20. She triumphantly winked, full of confidence. This is a flattery skill that could be in textbooks. If it didn't increase favorability, that would be strange. Lian asked him as she returned to her room. If the favorability has already increased by 10, do I have any new skills? Little Hong started checking. Let me see. Suddenly, he exclaimed excitedly when he saw the screen. Received the reward? Little genius of stock investment? Looks like your new skill isn't bad either. Lian blankly asked. Little genius of stock speculation. What does that mean? He winked and replied. It means that from now on, whatever stocks you buy will go up. That's what it means. Hearing this, Lian eyes lit up. Wow, does that mean that for my practical finance assignment this time, any stock I buy will go up? Little Hong cheerfully snapped his fingers. Bingo! On the other side, in the Fang family villa, in Fang Ziyu's room, she happily laughed while applying a face mask and watching TV. She looked towards Qing Qing and said, Su Qing, you rarely call me to come over and play. You only know how to look at the computer. Aren't you bored? Qing immediately stopped her actions. She replied with a sycophantic smile. This practical investment assignment is quite difficult. I have to research some materials. Oh, right. Are you done with yours? Xingyu looked at her blankly. Oh, that. I had my mom find the financial director to do it for me. I heard he has tons of industry insider info guaranteed to make me top of the class. That green tea bitch Ching Ching is so jealous. Ha, homework. Rich people can just hire someone to do it, unlike me, who has to struggle to find materials. Thinking of this, the green tea acted all innocent and admiring. Looking at Xingyu, you're so amazing, Xingyu. I'm so jealous that your family helps you. I bet your sister is the same. Not having to worry about practical assignments. She really knows how to hit where it hurts. Xingyu violently threw the bag towards the TV and shouted, "Speaking of Su Lian it pisses me off. What's wrong with her now, though? Before, even though she was annoying, she was at least straightforward. But now, she's acting all wronged and innocent, pretending all the time. I get annoyed just looking at her." Ching Ching frowned slightly. Why do I feel like she's talking about me? Little green tea Ching Ching gave a textbook smile and chimed in. Maybe she realized Si Fenglan is nicer to you, so she's jealous and trying to sabotage you, Xingyu replied with amusement. Really? You think Fenglan is different with me too? Then she frowned again. But I still get angry thinking about Su Lian making me get a 0 on the opening exam. No way, I have to make her pay. Afterwards, Xingyu looked at the green tea and said, Ching Ching, quickly find me some trash stocks, the kind that are guaranteed to lose money if you buy them, she asked, puzzled. Xingyu, what do you want to do? Xingyu slyly picked up her phone. I know Professor Zhang's teaching assistant. As long as I give him some money, he'll change Su Lian investment portfolio. I want Su Lian investment assignment to get a 0 this time, to embarrass her. 2 weeks later, the teacher stood on the podium to announce. The short-term practical investment assignment ends today. Let's see which students have excelled in this assignment. Lian looked at the computer and was shocked. Wait, these stocks, I don't think I chose these. Up front, Xingyu sneakily glanced at Lian. She seemed to understand. So, she secretly changed the stocks she chose, making her lose face in class. Looks like she will be disappointed again. At this time, the teacher entered the evaluation section. There are many students who still do not understand the difference between short and long lines. The prophet of the short line is not good at all. Your classmate, Su Ching Ching, is good. Applying the knowledge I taught in class, this is very good. Hearing this, the green tea secretly smiled brightly. The professor praised her. It was not a waste of time for her to stay up all night for a few days. Then the teacher suddenly blurted out, wait, there are CSO students whose profit rate is even better than professional staff. Ching Ching's smile hadn't even fully formed before it froze. Then, acting sweet, she looked at Xingyu and praised. Congratulations, Xingyu. Your assignment this time is really surprising. She waved her hand arrogantly. Oh, it's just over 20 points. It's nothing much. But inside, she was extremely dissatisfied. What is she so smug about? If it weren't for her family helping her, she would never be able to beat me. The teacher was shocked once again. In just a short 2 weeks, this student's investment rate has doubled. A miracle, truly a miracle. Ching Ching was also shocked to hear this. That much, Xingyu was full of question marks. Doubled. But a few days ago I only made over 20 points. How did it suddenly double? The teacher happily called out the name. The student who created this miracle is Su Lian. Ziyu could only wish that her ears had misheard. Her heart screamed, how could this be? Lian smiled leisurely and waved, looking at her mockingly. You slammed her hand on the table, jumping to her feet. No way, Su Lian only bought garbage stocks. How could they double in value? The professor seriously explained. This is what I call a miracle. Students, everyone thought this company had fraudulent business practices, and this company previously had capital chain issues. But who would have thought their new drug would pass all 3 phases of trials and immediately be recognized by the market? Ziyu and Ching Ching were so angry their eyes bulged. Finishing his sentence, the professor gave a thumbs up, praising, classmate Su really made this teacher see her in a new light. Lian smiled sweetly and humbly replied, it's all thanks to Professor Zhang's excellent teaching. The professor clapped his hands and continued. Not at all. Not at all. When I was young, I also liked an investment style as biased as yours. Classmate Su's practical assignment deserves a full mark. Lian immediately smiled and replied, thank you, Professor. A moment later, the clock struck the hour. The professor also ended the lesson. All right, class dismissed. Lian leaned in close to Ziyu, taunting, thank you, Fang Ziyu. Thanks to your help, I was able to complete such a spectacular assignment. Saying this, she struck a pose and shot them a big heart. You reacted, glaring at her and yelling, Su Lian, you're taking advantage and showing off. The green tea. Ching Ching spoke up to comfort her. Xingyu, don't bother. Su Lian just has good luck. Don't Don't take it to heart, she repeated sternly. Luck. But then Ziyu slapped Ching Ching across the face. Her eyes filled with tears, she asked in disbelief. Why did you hit me, Zia? You pointed at Ching Ching's face and scolded. Su Lianni's investment portfolio cannot be explained by luck alone. Are you playing dirty tricks? Secretly helping her pick those come-from-behind stocks? Ching Ching's tears flowed freely as she sobbed. Really, it's not me, Z. You have to believe me. Zin. You didn't bother listening to her whining, quickly put on her bag. It's best if you didn't do it. If I find out you did, you're dead. With that, she left the scheming Ching Ching alone. She wiped away her tears, plotting with hatred. Su Lianni, Fangzi. You just wait. One day, I will make you kneel before me and beg for forgiveness. Later, in Su Lianni's room, she looked at her phone and said, Precious system, why isn't my little stock genius character setting working anymore? I've already invested the 60 million that Si Yehan gave me into city stocks. Why haven't they doubled yet? The system explained. Profiting from stock speculation has nothing to do with how much money you've invested. Simply put, investing less money has a higher probability of profit, while investing more money has a lower probability of profit. Otherwise, you could just snap your fingers and become the richest woman in the world, so why would you need later good fortune? Lianni looked at it in agreement. That's right, I should still continue to seduce third brother. Seeing a call on her phone, she said in surprise. A strange number. As soon as she answered, the other side immediately yelled, Su Lianni, you're really making people sad. You just received the money a while ago, and you've already forgotten me so quickly. Lianni acted like she didn't know who was asking, and said, Si Yehan, is there something you need from me? He replied. Yes, I have a gala tonight, and I want to invite you to be my date. I nonchalantly agreed. No problem. Since I've taken your money, I naturally have to help you with some things. What time? Yehan replied. 8 o'clock. I'll come to your house to pick you up. At the same time, in Su Yanxin's study, the secretary brought documents and said, President Su. The draft of the Talent magazine interview is ready. Yanxin seriously read through it. Looking at his own photo in the magazine, he unhappily glanced at the assistant. This photo, the distance to my perfect angle is off by 3 degrees. Tell the magazine to fix it. The assistant immediately accepted the order. Yes, I will contact them today. Only then did Yanxin nod and continue reading. He suddenly froze when he saw Si Yehan exclusive interview. Yanxin angrily shouted, Why did Si Yehan also accept an interview with Talent? And his interview is placed before mine, on the first page. The assistant, sweating profusely, explained, It might be because Si Yehan rarely accepts interviews. It's rare that he accepted this time, so it was placed in front. He didn't accept that, and threw the magazine onto the table. That doesn't mean he can step all over me. And why didn't he take a photo? The assistant tensely replied, I heard. It seems like Si Yehan refused to take a photo. Yanxin asked in confusion. Refused? Why? Does he look down on this magazine? That's why he didn't take a photo? Speaking to this point, he abruptly stood up. Si Yehan looks down on the magazine cover that I pursue, and with such a magazine, they still put Si Yehan's interview in front of mine. The assistant, whose body was already trembling, tentatively looked at him and asked, President Su, should I negotiate with the people at the magazine to adjust the angle of the photo? Yanxin irritably shouted, Adjust what? Take that photo down. The more he spoke, the more agitated he became. Not just the photo, take down the whole interview for me. What Si Yehan looks down on, Su Yanxin doesn't care about either. The assistant lowered his head and added, Then the party that Si Yehan is hosting tonight, are we still going? Yanxin irritably replied, Go. Why wouldn't I go? I'm not that petty. On Lianni's side, Yehan texted, I'm here. Lianni was startled and hurriedly walked away. Crap, I'm almost late. Fate brought them together. Yanxin had just stepped out when he met Yehan. Si Yehan, what are you doing here? Yehan calmly replied. I'm here to pick someone up to attend the party. He confusingly scolded. Pick someone up? Are you crazy? Coming such a long way just to pick me up? Yehan calmly continued. Who said I came here to pick you up? Then, itching for a beating, he added. I came to pick up your sister. When Yanxin saw her, he called out, Little sister. Lianni gently called out, Brother. In the luxurious car, Lianni helplessly sat between two devil kings. Yanxin couldn't bear it and pointed at the two of them, asking, When did this start? Lianni was startled, her heart in a panic. She forgot to tell Si Yehan beforehand. How should she answer? Yehan calmly took her hand. With prestige, he looked at Yanxin and replied, Recently, he smiled, appraising Ly. Recently? Why do I remember that your foolish nephew hasn't withdrawn from his engagement with Lianni yet? Yehan calmly retorted, With me here, there's no need to worry about not withdrawing the engagement. Or are you saying you really want your sister to marry Si Fenglan? Yanqin turned his head away and coldly refused. Nonsense, of course not. Yi Han forcefully added. Then you think having me as your brother-in-law is better than that Si Fenglan, right, second brother? Hearing this, Yanqin was taken aback. Her little mind calculated. That's right, if Si Yehan marries Lian Ni, he'll have to call me brother later. Not bad. Thinking of this, Yanqin cleared his throat. Ultimately, it still depends on who Lian Ni likes. I'll support whoever she chooses. But Lian Ni, do you think your brother is more capable, or Si Yehan? Seeing his serious gaze fixed on her, Lian Ni felt pressured and thought, wait, I almost forgot. The novel says that Su Yanqin always sees Si Yehan as his rival, wanting to compete with him all the time. Miscalculation. I initially cooperated with Si Yehan to make some petty money, but I completely forgot that I'd offend Su Yanqin. If I don't answer this question well, my favorability will drop to 0. At this point, she had a headache and secretly screamed, oh my god, I don't want to live as a poor ghost again. Thinking of this, Lian Ni sullenly said, brother, I don't want to answer this question. Yanqin looked at her puzzled and asked, why? In his heart, he began to speculate. Could it be that she thinks Si Yehan is more capable, but she doesn't dare to say it in front of me, so she chose to say that? Lian Ni turned on her A-list actress mode and said firmly, I told you long ago you are the best person in this world. Even Xia Yehan can't compare. Yanqin shyly asked back, You really think so? She immediately replied, of course. Big brother Yanqin raised his face to the sky, proudly mocking, Yihan, did you hear that? My sister said it. You're simply not worthy of me. Yihan didn't argue, only smiled inwardly. All right, as long as you two are happy. After a while, their car arrived at Xinyehan's villa. When everyone saw Lian Ni arm in arm with two handsome men, they gossiped, why are those three together? Su Lian Ni must be with Su Yanqin now. Master Si must have just met them by chance. Lian Ni, driven by her sweet tooth, noticed the pastries on the table. Wow, that bunny-shaped cake must be delicious. Thinking of this, she tugged at Yanqin's arm. Second brother? I'll go over there first. I'll find you later. Yanqin indulgently agreed. Okay. In the blink of an eye, a piece of cake fell into Lian Nian's mouth. She happily smiled, completely satisfied. It's even tastier than I imagined. Suddenly, someone called from behind, Su Lian Ni, what are you doing here? Seeing it was the scumbag Feng Lam, she immediately lost her good mood. Another jinx. Can't he stop bothering me? Lian Ni, not even bothering to acknowledge him, directly turned around to leave. Behind her, he angrily said, Did I say you could leave? You clung to me like your life depended on it, and now I would even marry you? Feng Lam shamelessly grabbed Lian Ni's hand. He loudly added, Let me tell you, someone like you should never dream of entering my family's estate in this lifetime. Lian Ni disgustedly retorted, First, I didn't come here for someone like you. Second, who said I can't enter your estate? Who knows, the next time you see me you'll have to call me Auntie. Hearing this, Feng Lam panicked. Auntie, you're saying you and with Lian Ni smiled gleefully, continuing. That's right, I'm seeing Xie Yehan, Feng Lam exclaimed in horror. Su Lian Ni, you've really gone crazy, actually seeing that devil. Lian Ni couldn't help but sigh at this point. Trusk, what exactly did Si Yehan do to make him so terrified? Then she continued to explain. Yehan isn't a devil at all. He's more handsome, richer, and smarter than you. What kind of man wouldn't like him and instead like you? Are you poor, ugly, or just plain stupid? Insulted, Feng Lam excitedly pointed at Lian Ni. She, not one to be easily bullied, slapped his hand away. You what? From now on, I'm your auntie, so remember to show some respect? You have no manners. I'll tell your uncle to teach you a lesson. Saying this, Lian Ni secretly mocked him. Still so naive, daring to fight me, HMPH. At this moment, Si Yehan's voice came from a distance. I didn't expect my image in Miss Su's heart to be so good. Lian Ni turned around and met his gaze. She nonchalantly added, Of course. After all, I'm taking your money, so I need to put on a little act. Yehan looked at her and smiled contentedly. Then, he leaned closer to Lian Ni and said ambiguously, Miss Su, if we're putting on a show, shouldn't we make it more thorough? As he said this, his hand wrapped around her waist. Yehan leaned close to Lian Ni's ear and whispered, Don't move. My nephew is still over there watching. Feng Lam's eyes widened, and his mouth gaped as he stared at them in shock. Lian Ni secretly sized him up. Tetsk, Si Fengnan really does show up everywhere. Coming closer, she decisively tugged on Yehan's tie, leaned close to his ear, and whispered, "It's still you, Brother Ci, who thinks things through so thoroughly. Don't worry, I'm a very trustworthy person. I will definitely do what I promised you." Yehan was momentarily stunned, I know, but, saying this, a thought popped into his head. She smells so good. After that, Lian Ni decisively pushed him away. Yehan watched her retreating figure, sighing. Was I just reverse seduced? The surrounding people couldn't help but gossip. What's going on? Isn't Su Lian Ni Si Feng Lam's fiancé? Why is she being so intimate with Si Yehan? The person next to them continued. Who knows? I heard that Si Feng Lam didn't like Su Lian Ni before. But looking at it now, it seems like Su Lian Ni doesn't need Si Feng Lam at all. Another person said, but it's true that Si Yehan is much better than Si Feng Lam. If I were Su Lian Ni, I would also choose Si Yehan. Shh, keep it down. Si Feng Lam is standing right there. The scumbag, Tra Nam, angrily gritted his teeth, crushing the wineglass. Su Lian Ni, Si Yehan. Over here, Yan Xin was getting a drink. The other person said, "Congratulations, seeing how intimate Miss Su and President Xi are, you must invite me when they get married." "Definitely," he replied happily. "Definitely." Afterward, Yan Xin turned and called out, "Where's Lian Ni? She's still engaged to someone else, and yet she's being intimate with Si Yehan in such a public place. It's outrageous." The assistant behind him spoke up. Perhaps the young lady is resting in the lounge. Indeed, Lian Ni was sitting tiredly on a chair, sighing. Social gatherings are so exhausting, but I'm sure everyone knows that my relationship with Si Yehan is not simple. Let's just consider this a warm-up for the annulment. Sometime later, Yan Qin arrived and called out sternly, "Lian Ni, what were you doing with Xie Yehan just now? You haven't even broken off your engagement with his nephew yet." Hearing this, Lian Ni secretly sighed. I didn't expect my third brother to be so traditional at heart. Thinking of this, she slightly opened her eyes. But how could this possibly cause me trouble? She immediately pretended to be drunk, burped loudly, and said, "Who are you?" Yan Qin immediately fell for it. "You're drunk." She squinted and asked, "You still haven't answered me. Who are you?" He chuckled triumphantly. "You can't even recognize me. And you say you're not drunk? Take a good look. Who am I?" Lian Ni immediately hugged his face, puckering up her lips. "I know now." With an adoring expression, she exclaimed, "You're so handsome. You must be a celestial brother." Shen Xian Gage. Yan Qin, clearly not having reacted in time, softly repeated, "Celestial brother." Lian Ni added a few more sentences. "I've never seen anyone as handsome as you. You are a celestial brother, aren't you?" On the surface, Yan Qin was pensive, but deep down he was already jumping for joy. My sister is praising me for being handsome. Considering it as surviving a crisis, he happily helped Lian Ni up. "I'm your older brother, not a celestial brother. How did this child get so drunk? Get up, I'll take you home." Lian NH. I still couldn't resist teasing him. "My dear brother, wow, I'm so happy. Having such a handsome brother." Yan Xin, being praised to the skies, was naturally overjoyed. Did this girl take some flattery classes? Her words are so sweet. Little Hong immediately appeared, cheering. "Congratulations, host. Su Yan Xin's affection level has increased by 25. You're amazing, host." Lian NH. I casually replied, "It's nothing much." Later, he thoughtfully placed his hand on the car frame to shield her. "Be careful." Suddenly, someone called from behind. Su Zong. It was the secretary, reporting softly, "We have information from Country H. They said they've found that girl." Hearing this, he immediately turned to ask, "Are you sure?" The secretary replied, "It's highly likely. The clues they provided match the girl you're looking for very closely. Shall we head to Country H now?" Yan Xin nodded in agreement. "Okay." Then he turned back to look at her and said, "Lilayan, NHI." She waved goodbye from inside the car. "Dearest brother, just go to work. I can go home by myself." Yan Xin hesitated a bit. Then he patted her head affectionately. "Good girl." He carefully instructed the driver. "Take Miss home. After you arrive, send me a message." The driver replied, "Yes, third young master." He stood there, watching the car gradually drive away. Inside, Lian NH, I thought to herself, if I'm not mistaken, that girl is probably the one Su Yanqin has been searching for over a decade. I remember it took almost until the end of the story to find her, but now she's found so early. More people mean more variables. It seems I have to seize the opportunity to win over third brother. Wait, why is it so desolate outside? This doesn't look like the way home. Thinking this, she looked at the driver. His back seems unusually tall. Could something be wrong? Lian NHI remained calm. and quietly placed her hand into her bag. But before she could do anything, the car stopped. Leon? NH. I immediately pretended to be asleep. Damn it, now I can only play along. Meanwhile, the driver said, Miss, I've brought Sulian NHI here as you instructed. She curiously twitched her eyelashes. Miss, looking at the blurry figure in front of her, she couldn't make out who it was. Who is it? It was ZU. She opened the car door and said, Why is she sleeping so soundly? The driver replied, She was drunk at the party. Xinyu looked at Lian NHI smugly. That saves me some effort. The green tea. Ching Ching feigned surprise. Xinyu, you really brought her here. Are we going to cause trouble? The clever little Lian NH, I muttered to herself. So it's Fang Ziyu and Su Ching Ching. Xin. You looked at Lian Ni indifferently in the car and said, Ching Ching, tell me, how should we torture Su Lian Ni, or should we beat her up to vent our anger? Ching Ching looked at her with an innocent expression. Beat her up. She turned back angrily and snapped. Let me tell you, today you absolutely have to help me figure out how to deal with Su Lian Ni. If you mess it up again like the last investment assignment, don't be my best friend anymore. Ching Ching immediately panicked. But I don't know what to do either. I have a feeling Xilan Feng doesn't actually like her. But it's true that she is beautiful. It's not impossible that Xilan Feng is temporarily bewitched. If she weren't so beautiful, then you could sleep soundly. Hearing this, Lian Ni secretly sneered in her heart. This Su Ching Ching is really good at using someone else's knife to kill. She wants to ruin my face but doesn't dare to say it, afraid of ruining her innocent and frail image. I just don't know if Fang Ziyu's not-so-bright brain can understand this insinuation. Unexpectedly, Z. You didn't understand the implication and glared at Ching Ching. That's redundant. Of course, I know she's beautiful, but why are you telling me this? You don't expect me to wake her up and ask her how she takes care of her skin, do you? Lian Ni was about to lose it, screaming in her heart with glee. There's a reason why Fang Zi. You can't become a cool villain. Ching Ching secretly cursed in her heart, frustrated. What kind of pig teammate is this? Suddenly, a bullet flew and hit the car door, startling them both. What? They hugged their heads in fear and screamed, Ah! Ah! Lian Ni peeked out of the car. Crap, it looks like a group of people is coming. They looked at each other and discussed, Boss, why are there 3 girls here? Which one is our target? Ching Ching thought tremblingly. Target? They're kidnappers. Thinking of this, she desperately ran away. If I stay here, I'll lose my life. I have to run. They mercilessly shot at Ching Ching. You still want to run? She was so lucky that she wasn't hit by any shots. Seeing this, they angrily cursed. Damn it, we should have brought night vision goggles. It's so dark, boss. I'll chase after her. He stopped him and replied, Don't waste your effort. That girl is wearing ragged clothes. One look and you can tell she's not our target. He put away his gun and looked towards Ziai. He asked loudly, Tell me, are you Su Lian Ni? Su Qi Yuan's younger sister? She hugged her head and denied, No, I'm not Su Lian Ni. Su Lian Ni is in the car. Inside the car, she wondered in confusion, What's going on? These kidnappers, they came here for me. At this moment, he pointed the gun and nudged Lian Ni. Hey, wake up! She was forced to open her eyes. Then, she backed away and shouted in horror, Who are you? He said sternly. Don't say much. Get out of the car. Lian Ni nodded with tears in her eyes. As she got out of the car, she looked at Xinyu and called out, Huh, Su Lian Ni, why are you here? Hearing this, the kidnapper pressed the gun against her head and cursed. What's going on? Didn't you say she was Su Liani? Why is she calling you Su Liani now? Xinyu panicked and replied, She's lying. She's the real Su Liani. She's deliberately deceiving you. Liani innocently continued, Liani, how can you not even recognize your own name? But in her heart she was secretly delighted, trying to lure me out and escape alone. How ridiculous! Ziyu glared at her with hatred. The leader impatiently shouted, Shut your mouths, both of you! If we can't tell, we'll just take both of you. His subordinate agreed. Big brother really has a way. On Ching Ching's side, she desperately ran far away. Then she stopped, panting heavily. Luckily, they didn't catch up. Then she shakily took out her phone. I must quickly tell the Fang family to rescue Xinyu. But Ching Ching suddenly remembered, Wait a minute, if I inform the Fang family to rescue Xinyu, Suliani will definitely be saved as well. No, I can't tell the Fang family. Heaven is helping me get rid of Suliani. Why should I do that? Thinking of this, the green tea Ching Ching threw the phone into the bushes. Turning around, she revealed a smug smile. As for Xinyu, she has always looked down on me. Why should I think about her? At this moment, inside the abandoned warehouse, Liani innocently asked the kidnappers. Hey brother, my wrists and ankles are injured. Can you loosen the ropes a bit? He irritably said. You're so troublesome. But he still loosened the ropes for her. Then he looked towards the leader and said, Boss, has the food been delivered yet? I'm hungry, he replied. It's delivered. Give these 5 boxes to those tigers, he obeyed. Okay. At this time, Xingyu mockingly sneered at her. Suliani, you're so despicable, you're just tied up, yet you're pretending to be pitiful. Liani naturally had her own plans. The opponents have at least 7 people, and possibly everyone has a gun. Even if I have the strength of an ox now, without weapons or fighting skills, resisting them only gives me a 30% chance of winning. The opponents kidnapped me because of my older brother, probably wanting to use me to threaten him, so my older brother should be receiving the news soon. The safest way right now is to obediently cooperate with the kidnappers and wait for my older brother to arrive. Xingyu kept chattering. Hey, I'm talking to you. Why aren't you paying attention to me? Liani impatiently looked at her. Fang Xingyu, I advise you to be honest and wait for my older brother to come and save both of us. Xingyu smiled triumphantly and replied, Who needs your older brother to save me? Qing has already escaped. She will definitely tell my family to come and save me. Hearing this, Liani smiled amusingly. Su Qing won't contact your family. If you don't believe me, just wait and see. She naturally didn't believe her and retorted, That's impossible. She's my best friend. Don't even think about driving a wedge between us. Time passed quickly, and 2 hours had passed. Liani tentatively moved slightly. Hearing the sound of shouting outside, Liani could guess the situation. My older brother has arrived. The kidnappers were leisurely playing cards, a pair of jacks. Lian Ni observed her surroundings and calculated. The door was quite a distance away. If they took turns guarding or forcefully broke through the net during this time, it would be terrible. Thinking of this, she came up with a plan. Coughing painfully, hoo-hoo. The pitiful beauty said softly, I'm so thirsty. Could you 2 big brothers give me some water? The accomplice cursed under his breath, but still fetched her some. Troublesome. Xingyu beside her shouted loudly, Su Lian Ni, do you have any shame? You even have to speak softly to these lowly people? Hearing this, the man was furious. Who are you calling lowly, you stinky woman? Finishing his sentence, he angrily kicked over Xingyu's chair. What I hate most are people like you. You have a few coins at home and think you're high class. The leader walked over and held his shoulder. Wait, did you hear something? Lian Ni panicked. Crap, they still heard it. The 2 of them each carried Lian Ni and Ziyu. Quickly take them to the basement in the back, he replied. Yes, Lian Ni also understood the situation. It's time. She gently used force to break the rope. She kicked hard at the person in front of her. Ha! He was kicked and slammed into the wall. And out of instinct released Xingyu, who fell down screaming in pain. Apaya! The remaining man immediately ran back to grab the gun, but Lian Ni had already chopped it in half. She effortlessly lifted him up. Seeing this scene, the kidnapper was terrified. What are you doing? Lian Ni didn't say much and threw him against the wall. Afterwards, she lightly dusted off her hands. Ziyu below said in disbelief, Cousin, Lian Ni didn't dwell on the past and untied her ropes. You're still running your mouth even while tied up. Are you stupid? At this moment, someone kicked open the door. It was Feng Lan, Ye Han, and Qi Yuan. He called out loudly. Lian Ni. The 2 of them were overjoyed, Xingyu said shyly. Brother Feng Lan? Lian Ni quickly interjected. Big brother. Afterwards, she ran over and hugged him tightly. You've finally arrived. Those bandits were so scary. I was so scared I was going to die. Qi Yuan affectionately stroked her head. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's good that you're okay. Then he looked at the 2 unlucky kidnappers stuck on the wall and said, This is... Lian Ni happily showed off. Big brother. These guys were beaten by Xingyu. She's so amazing. She took care of them all in a flash. In her heart, little Lian Ni shyly said, My weak image in front of Big Brother can't collapse. At this moment, Qi Yuan and the other 2 looked at Xingyu. She was shocked and screamed inwardly, Mom, that's such a lie. When did I ever beat them? Then she denied it. Brother Feng Lan, you believe me, it really wasn't me. It was Su Lian Ni who knocked them out. She still acted innocent and said, Xingyu, don't be modest. You saved me this time. I will definitely repay you. Ziyu angrily shouted, Who needs you to repay me? Qi Yuan then spoke up. It needs to be repaid. Don't worry, I will definitely come to your door to thank you another day. She reached out from behind to grab him, calling, Brother Feng Lan. Her little heart was clearly unwilling. It was all that bad woman Su Lianni's fault for ruining her image in his eyes. Outside, Lian Ni uncomfortably sneezed. Acho. Seeing this, Qi Yuan worriedly asked, Are you okay? She replied, I'm okay. Ye Han had already put a coat on her. It's cold at night. Put it on. Lian Ni looked at him and said, Okay, Qi Yuan looked at the two of them with a parental expression. Yinghan naturally understood and quickly let go of her hand. He thoughtfully shielded her from above so Lian Ni could get into the car. Be careful. Qi Yuan awkwardly took her hand. Lian Ni, I'm sorry, you must have been very scared today. She smiled brightly and replied, they're the ones who did wrong, you don't need to apologize. And besides, I'm not scared. Speaking of this, Lian Ni looked at him confidently. No matter what happens, you will come and save me. Hearing this, the handsome guy was moved and called out, Lian Ni. Suddenly, Little Pink appeared, shooting fireworks to celebrate. Congratulations, host. Suyo Qi Yuan's affection for you has increased by 5 points. Lian Ni couldn't help but be surprised. Wow, I just said something randomly, and it increased his affection. Qi Yuan affectionately patted her head. Silly girl, don't worry, this kind of thing won't happen again. I'll take you home. She obediently replied. Okay. Then he turned to look at Ye Han. Why haven't you left yet? He replied. Waiting for you. Is Lian Ni okay? Qi Yuan replied. Are you and Lian Ni really together? Ye Han said briefly. Not agreed yet. He pondered and continued. As long as Lian Ni likes it, what's there to disagree about? Speaking of this, he coldly glared at Ye Han threateningly. But if you dare to bully her, don't blame me for being impolite. He didn't answer, just chuckled. Then he looked towards the car at Lian Ni and replied, don't worry, this little sister of yours, I've never been able to bully her. Back home, Lian impatiently called out, quick, let me see what skill you got, little Hong. Snap your fingers and appear, come on. She quickly tapped on the gift box. It was ancient martial arts, the Lingbo Weibu. Lian covered her mouth in surprise. Ancient martial arts. Little Hong chimed in with a bright smile. Finally, the ancient martial arts you wanted has arrived. Walking back and forth in the room, she thought to herself, Lingbo Weibu, let's try it out. Lian immediately followed. This looks a bit silly, doesn't it? Suddenly, she froze in astonishment. Lian asked in confusion. This, Little Hong replied. This is the Lingbo Weibu. Simply put, it can use movements that are too fast for the average person to see clearly, making it impossible for them to distinguish what's happening. It's an extremely useful skill. Hearing this, her eyes lit up. No one can rival speed. This is practically like unlocking a cheat. So ancient martial arts also have special skills that are quite good. Little Hong looked at her suggestively. Of course, the skills received at the physique stat stage are all types of ancient martial arts, and they're very abundant. At this point, big sister Lian was burning with fighting spirit. Big bro, quickly let me continue conquering. A few days later, Ziyu lay bored on the bed. These people all think they can knock me down after seeing me stumble with those two strong guys. How am I supposed to regain my reputation? At this moment, the servant reported, Miss Su Qing is here to see you. Hearing that name, her blood boiled. Su Qing. Then she jumped up and said, let her in. Qing had barely entered when she started crying dramatically. Xingyu, she replied disgustedly. What are you here for? To see if I'm still alive. Qing ran over and hugged her. Xingyu, that day after I ran away, I originally planned to call my family to help you, but I don't know where my phone went. I searched everywhere but couldn't find it. By the time I got home, I saw your parents had already taken you home, Xingyu. Can you forgive me? Xingyu naively looked at Qing's hand, which was covered in scratches from branches. She's probably telling the truth. Then she patted her on the shoulder to comfort her. All right, I don't blame you anymore. It's good that everyone is safe and sound. That's all that matters. Qing thought with a change of attitude. That's right, it's good that everyone is safe and sound. If Feng Ziyu and Su Lian had something happen to them, that would be even better. Later, Qing tiredly returned to the hotel. It exhausted me to coax Feng Ziyu. Inside, Ao Heng saw her return and said, You're back, Qing. Your dad has been busy these past few days, so... As he spoke, he suddenly noticed the injuries on her skin. He immediately jumped up anxiously and asked, Qing, what are these injuries on your body? She choked back tears and replied, Dad, Shortly after, he slammed the table in anger. I told him a long time ago not to be a mercenary, but he wouldn't listen. Entangling his brothers and Su Lian is already too much. Now you're in danger too. What if he endangers you and your mother later on? With that, Ao Heng grabbed her hand and said, No, this time I absolutely must go teach Su Qiyuan a lesson, and make him explain himself to you. Just then, someone called out, Lao Su, he exclaimed in surprise. Lao Qian, what are you doing here? He replied affably, There's a banquet, so I'm here. Oh right, I heard there's been a change in your family's engagement with the Silla family. Such a big deal, and you didn't tell me. Don't you consider me a friend anymore? Now Heng asked, confused. Are you talking about Su Lianhair's engagement with Sifeng Luo? What changed? There's no incident, Lao Qian added. Stop pretending. Su Lianhair was being intimate with that person at the banquet. Everyone saw it. Hearing this, Now Heng froze. What? So all that effort to curry favor with the Xiao family was for nothing? Su Lianhair, what good have you done? Thinking this, he angrily turned and left. Qing called out softly from behind. Dad? Dad? Lao Qian was baffled. Hey, why did he suddenly leave? At this moment, in the Su family home, Lianhair sighed, rubbing her stomach. I've been eating too much lately, my tummy's starting to show. From outside, Now Heng's shouting echoed. Su Lianhair, get out here. He began a lecture. Has something happened with your engagement to Sifeng Luo? At that point, she understood. So that's what this is about? She looked at him coldly and said, That's right, I'm seeing someone else. I won't marry Sifeng Luo. Now Heng immediately lashed out. You uneducated girl, you're already engaged and you're still seducing other men. I'll beat you to death today. Qing, looking sensible, ran up to stop him. Dad, don't be angry. I believe my sister definitely didn't intentionally be with another strange man. Lianhair glanced at her with disdain. Seeing other men, a strange man. So all you know is that I have a new love, but you don't know that my new love is Si Yehan. Lao Zhang happened to enter and announced, Master, Si Yehan has sent gifts. She smiled triumphantly at this moment. Next, the show's about to begin. Now Heng pondered. Si Yehan is wealthy, and the Xia family is ruthless. He looked at Lao Zhang and asked, What did he send? He replied, A lot of things, all in boxes, his assistant said. This is a small token of Mr. Xia's appreciation for Miss Su, Now Heng asked again. Miss Su, then he turned to Qing, laughing. Qing, since when did you get to know Si Yehan and didn't tell Dad? She replied in surprise. Si Yehan sent me gifts, but I don't know him at all. He insisted. You may not know him, but he hasn't forgotten you. He came to Liantier's birthday last time, didn't he? Who knows, he fell in love with you at first sight. Hearing this, Green Tea was secretly delighted. Love at first sight. Si Yehan actually fell in love with me at first sight. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have had a relationship with Si Lamfeng. If Si Yehan finds out, will he dislike me? At this moment, Now Heng said happily to Lao Zhang. Outside, gifts kept being brought in endlessly. Qing thought gleefully. So many things, and all high-end designer items. I wonder how much money they're worth. Qing smiled widely and said affectionately, Thank you for your trouble. I'll thank Mr. C on behalf of Qing, but the assistant just brushed past him. Then he went respectfully to Lianhair and said, Miss Su, these are the gifts that the boss prepared for you. Tang Aoheng cautiously asked again. Wait, these gifts from Si Yehan are for Su Lianhair. The secretary replied coldly. Of course. Does the Su family have a second young lady? Qing was furious. Was he implying that she was an illegitimate child, unworthy of being called Su young lady? He looked at Lianhair excitedly. So, what you said about someone new just now, could it be? Lianhair interrupted. That's right, it's Si Yehan. Then she added with a relaxed smile. But I didn't expect that Si Yehan would be the kind of indecent man in Dad's eyes. Seeing the secretary staring at him, he quickly waved his hand in denial. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. He respectfully bowed to Lianhair, his attitude changed. Mr. Cease's gifts have been delivered. I'll take my leave now, Lianhair replied with a smile. Safe travels. Tang Aoheng looked at the secretary's retreating figure in disbelief. What exactly did Si Yehan see in you? Hearing this, she chuckled. I don't know either. Then she lightly tapped her hand on the table. She added with a gentle smile. Maybe he likes my strength. Looking at the table in front of him, broken in half, Tang Aoheng shuddered slightly. He cleared his throat and adjusted his expression, saying, Since you're seeing Si Yehan, then I won't stop you. As for your engagement with Si Fenglan, I'll help you cancel it. Lianhair, having achieved her goal, stood up. Then I'll trouble you to do it quickly. The green tea bitch Qing immediately grabbed his arm and asked, Dad, do you really want to cancel my sister's engagement with Si Fenglan? Qingyan replied with a bright smile. This is a good thing. Si Fenglan doesn't like Su Lianhair anyway. Speaking of this, he turned to look at Qing. That's right, Qing. Don't you like Si Fenglan? Now you have a chance. But in reality, he had his own plans. Having both his daughters marry into the Si family, no matter how they fought, Tang Aoheng would be the winner. Qing didn't bother to think about it. What good chance? It's like I'm picking up something Su Lianhair doesn't want. Then she said, Dad, I don't want it. He didn't care. And said, Qing, Don't worry, that kid, Si Fenglan, should take responsibility for you. As long as I talk to the Si family, they will definitely want your marriage. Qing Qing, wise to the ways of the world, saw through everything. Ha, all calculated. Everyone in his eyes is just a pawn. In the end, the person he loved the most wasn't her mother, nor Su Lianhe's mother, but himself. Thinking this, she could only accept it. I understand, Dad. Aoheng smiled brightly and continued. As expected of my good daughter, I have some business at the company. I'll go back first, Qing Qing replied. Okay, her mood had reached rock bottom. Why does Su Lianhe get to marry better? I have to find a way to stop Si Yehan and Su Lianhe. But since when did Su Lianhe like Si Yehan? She has been Kinchi, Si Fengnan for so many years. Logically speaking, she shouldn't let go. Then she opened her phone to check. It's already November. Her birthday is in a few days. I have to investigate a bit. At this time, the items had been delivered to Lianve's room, and she said, Aunt Wu, after you clean up, please put these items in the storage room for me, she replied. Yes, the eldest young lady is seeing Si Yehan. It seems she's tired of Si Fenglan. That's great. Lianwe continued. Aunt Wu, breaking up with a valuable man is letting go, but that kind of trash, it's called throwing away. Wu Shen chuckled gleefully. Miss has finally seen the light. Oh, isn't this the brand the madam used to like? The color is also dignified. The madam's birthday is in a few days. Wear this. Lian Ni replied in agreement. Okay, sure. At this moment, Yehan called. She immediately answered. Hello. He spoke. Does Miss Su like my gift? Lian Ni gazed pensively in that direction. Then she spoke. To be honest, not really. It doesn't hold value, and it can't be converted into cash. Instead of giving me these things, you might as well just give me money. Yehan rubbed his chin as if acknowledging. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Next time, I will definitely prepare a gift that Miss Su will be pleased with. Lian Ni held the phone away from her ear, sighing inwardly. Why does he speak so deeply? It makes my ear itch. So she scratched her ear as she replied. Then, thank you. A few days later, Yan Qin said to Qi Yuan over the phone, I'm sorry, something happened on my end, and I can't make it to Mom's birthday in time. He replied calmly. You're staying there because you're looking for someone, aren't you? Yan Qin said helplessly. That's right, that's the original plan, but the other party has lost their memory and needs to cooperate with the investigation. Qi Yuan didn't press her but said, Okay, I understand. Remember to visit Mom when you come back, Mom will understand. He then asked, Oh right, where are your third sibling and the others? Aren't they coming back either? Qi Yuan shook his head. Third sibling has surgery and it is life-threatening. There is no changing it. Fourth sibling has a shoot abroad. When they return, they have to be quarantined and managed, so they probably won't be able to make it either. As for the fifth sibling, Yan Qin said in a deep voice. Then only you and Lian Ni can visit Mom. But didn't Mom dislike grand celebrations? Next time, we'll all visit Mom together. Qi Yuan spoke. That's right, Mom didn't like birthdays because birthdays make you a year older. Yan Qin then laughed loudly. Haha, yes, he added. All right, if you're busy, go ahead. Come back early when you're done, Yan Qin replied somberly. Okay. Then he turned to instruct Uncle Zhang. Have you contacted Master Shanshui's side yet? He replied. Master Shanshui refused 3 times, so we can only invite his disciple, Wang Yuan. Hearing this, he said, Forget it, fate cannot be forced. What about Dad's side? Uncle Zhang reported back. The master said he has work at the company today and is afraid he can't visit the madam. Qi Yuan threw the towel aside and said indifferently, I knew his character long ago. No need to care. I have to go out this morning, he said to Lian Ni. Meet at the grave at 3 in the afternoon. Before that, remind Master Wang Yuan to come over. He obeyed and replied, Yes. On Lian Ni's side, she was preparing meticulously. Suddenly, someone sent a message. It clearly stated, Lian Ni, save me. Wu Shen asked curiously, What's wrong, miss? Is someone looking for you? Lian Ni didn't even bother to look. It's probably just a scam text. With that, she continued to apply her makeup. Suddenly she realized, That's right, I remember now. That number just now seemed to be Xilan Feng's. I clearly deleted his number a long time ago, yet the original owner's memories of him are so deeply ingrained in my consciousness. Speaking of which, I think this plot point was mentioned in the novel. To sow discord between Su Lianni and Su Qiyuan, Tang Qingqing used this petty trick, but it won't work on me. Thinking this, she said, Sister Wu, please arrange a driver for me. I want to go somewhere. The maid replied, Yes, miss. At the same time, Feng Lan said worriedly, You threw yourself into the road to save a stray dog. If old Zhang hadn't braked in time, he would have almost hit you. In Qingqing's hand was his phone. After sending the message, she deleted it. Then, returning the phone to Feng Lan, she said, Feng Lan, I know you're worried about me, but aren't I doing very well now? Thank you for letting me borrow your phone. I've contacted the dog's owner. She should be here soon. Feng Lan asked again, are you planning to wait here? The person isn't answering the phone, and even if you sent a message, there's no guarantee they'll see it. What if you have to wait a very long time? Qingqing replied with an innocent expression. Only I can protect this dog right now, so no matter how long it takes, I'll wait. Clearly, Feng Lan's heart was deeply moved by those words, thumping rapidly. 2 times. She really is a beautiful and kind girl. Thinking this, he looked reliably at Qingqing. Then I'll wait with you, the secretary's voice called out from the car. Young master, the boss will be coming to inspect this afternoon. You still have a lot of work to do. Only then did Feng Lan remember. That's right. My grandfather wants to come and check on my work progress today. Su Yanqin has been opposing me during this period, constantly causing the company to fail. I can't afford to make any mistakes right now. Qingqing understandingly reassured him. Feng Longji doesn't need to stay with me. You should go and do your work. He opened the car door and replied, all right, call me if anything happens. She obediently said, okay. A pensive look crossed Qingqing's face as she watched Feng Lan leave. Then, she tossed the pitiful puppy onto the street. TCH. Filthy. The puppy whimpered pitifully. Woof, woof. She wiped her hands and looked at it, saying, that's enough, you beast. Go away. I have to go somewhere else. I'm very busy. At the Bai family cemetery, Qi Yuan respectfully invited the old master, Great Master Wang Yuan, please this way. The Great Master smiled and responded, Amitabha, thank you, Benefactor Su. Then, he said to Wu Shen, where's Li Qianni? The maid immediately replied, the eldest miss went out early this morning. She said she would be here on time and told you not to wait for her. Hearing this, he slightly raised his eyebrows. Very well, let's go in then. Outside, it was raining cats and dogs. A familiar figure was kneeling before her grandmother's memorial tablet. Seeing this, Qi Yuan tentatively called out, Lian, but what answered him was Qingqing's sneering exclamation, older brother. He asked, a little annoyed, why are you yelling at me? What are you doing here? She went towards him looking pitiful. I heard today is McKay's birthday. I wanted to copy some scriptures to bring here as a gift from Dad for McKay. The monk smiled gently. Amitabha, to hand copy so many Buddhist scriptures, it must have taken quite a bit of time, young benefactor. Qi Yuan looked visibly surprised. Qingqing hesitantly added, actually, it didn't take that much time. Then she started to tear up, sniffling. It's just that I only found out about Ms. Bai's birthday a few days ago, so I only copied this much. Qi Yuan looked at her, thinking, her eyes are red. Looks like she stayed up late. The more she spoke, the more pitiful she became. I know that my relationship with McCann's Bai wasn't very good, but I can't just waste what McCann's Bai left behind, so I wanted to put in a little effort. Qi Yuan began to sympathize with Qingqing. Come to think of it, the ones at fault are Su Aoheng and Chu Huiru. Why am I taking my anger out on Su Qingqing? Thinking this, he looked at Wu Shen. Aunt Wu, give her an umbrella, she hurriedly said. Young master, but still reluctantly handed it to her. The young master is good in every way, but he's too soft-hearted towards women. The daughter of a mistress dares to come to the mistress's grave to pretend like this. At this time, Qi Yuan looked at his watch. But where's Li Qianni? Why hasn't she arrived yet? Wu Shen didn't know how to explain clearly. The eldest miss probably had something that made her late. The green tea beside them immediately started acting. Didn't she go to find Si Feng Lan today? Qi Yuan angrily scolded. Go to find Si Feng Lan? Qingqing acted surprised and chimed in. Today, on the way here, she clung to Si Feng Lan on the side of the road, looking very anxious. This made Wu Shen angry. You little BTCH, what nonsense are you talking about? Clearly, my miss received a text message this morning, that's why she went out. How could it be Si Feng? Saying this, she suddenly fell silent. Wait, could it be that the text message was sent by Si Feng Lan? Beside her, Qingqing secretly smiled triumphantly. I knew that this stupid Su Lian wouldn't be able to let go of Si Feng Lan. Thinking this, she put on a virtuous face and said, older brother, you must trust her. She must have something important. That's why she looked for Si Feng Lan. Otherwise, how could she not come to pay respects at Mikisi, Bai's grave? Qi Yuan actually smiled gently and said, of course I trust her. Seeing this, the green tea Qingqing froze. Why does Su Qi Yuan have this attitude? Isn't he angry or disappointed? Following this, Qi Yuan added, Because Liqian has arrived. Unexpectedly, she suddenly fell silent. Wu Shen called out joyfully. Eldest Miss. Lian walked next to an old master, carefully holding an umbrella and supporting him. She smiled brightly and called out, Second brother, I've invited Grandmaster Shan Shui. Qi Yuan rushed over and called out, Great Master Shan Shui. Wang Yuan grabbed his hand and continued, Master, why are you here? He looked at Qing Yuan and said, Amitabha. Of course, I'm here to perform a ritual for Bai Qingyue. Benefactor Bai, Qing Yuan asked in confusion. But didn't you refuse before? Shan Shui smiled and replied, Indeed, this old monk no longer wishes to involve himself in worldly affairs. But I once made a promise. Now I cannot go back on my word. Qi Yuan looked at Lian in a panic. You climbed thousands of steps to scatter pink powder. Lian are you crazy? How can your body handle that? She smiled helplessly. Actually, I didn't expect to make it either, but when I climbed the higher steps, just thinking of Mom, my body was filled with strength. I finally succeeded. Afterwards, she coughed as she spoke. Do you think Qi Yuan called out in shock. Lian She forced herself to reply. I'm fine. Maybe just a little tired. Xiao Hong appeared, pointing at the scheming person in front of her. Tired my foot. You could have finished the Lingbo Wei Bu in 10 minutes, but you were eating fried chicken and drinking milk tea, and didn't even share with me, she pouted. Even if I shared, you couldn't eat it anyway. Great Master Shan Shui stroked her back and asked with concern. Amitabha, Miss Su's filial piety towards her mother is touching the heavens, thus creating a miracle. Xiao Hong immediately jumped out to celebrate. Host, your favorability rating from Su Qi Yuan has increased from 40 to 45. Lian secretly smiled. Plan successful. Behind them, the green tea Qing Qing inadvertently revealed her true nature. Su Lian clearly went to find Si Fenglan. How could she have come to Qingshan Temple? Lian looked confused and said, Si Fenglan. Why would I go find Si Fenglan? She tried to argue. Because he sent you a message for help, shouldn't you go save him immediately? Lian then took out her phone. Help! Oh, are you talking about that message? So it was sent by Si Fenglan. Then I'm so sorry, I deleted his number a long time ago. I didn't recognize it at all. Qing Qing tilted her head suspiciously, looking at the screen. Afterwards, Lian touched her chin thoughtfully. But that's really strange. How did you know Si Fenglan sent me a message for help? The green tea stuttered. Qing Yuan also understood. Just now, you said you saw Lian with Si Fenglan this morning. How could that be? Lian continued. I've been at Qingshan Temple all morning. At this point, he looked at her, appraising Ly. Qing Qing trembled and stammered. I accidentally saw the message. About this morning, I must have seen the wrong person. Qi Yuan keenly realized. She's lying. Then he said, Lian and I need to perform a ritual for our mother. Please, those who aren't involved, leave. The green tea Qing Qing could only dejectedly leave. But then Qi Yuan called out, Wait a minute. She secretly rejoiced. Could it be that Big Brother has changed his mind? He said coldly. Take your things with you. Those were her scriptures. Qing Qing silently walked over and took them. Tears streamed down her face as she turned and ran away. Wu Shen sneered inwardly. Finally, that little bitch is gone. She gently looked at Lian Ni. Luckily, the eldest young miss deleted Si Fenglan's number, she responded. Otherwise, you'd think of going to find him, wouldn't you? Then she turned to Qi Yuan and asked, Big Brother? Do you think so too? Qi Yuan embarrassedly turned away. I didn't say that. Lian Ni looked at her phone and said, Speaking of which, Si Fenglan is really annoying. Looks like deleting the number isn't enough. I need to block him. There, that's much better. It'll be peaceful from now on, Qi Yuan lovingly added. Good, it seems like you've truly let go of him. Lian Ni leaned against her handsome older brother happily. Of course, I don't care about that kind of scum. As far as I'm concerned, having you is enough, Big Brother. Qi Yuan also said, Me too, having you is all I need. At the same time, in Si Fenglan's office at the company, he was yawning incessantly in front of his grandfather. Si Yuanshan angrily threw the teacup at him. You foolish idiot, are you even seriously listening to what I'm saying? The teacup shattered on the floor. Yuanshan incessantly lectured. I've told you a long time ago, don't rely on the fact that Su Lianni likes you and think you have nothing to fear. Now look at you, she's with Xian Yahan now, and that good-for-nothing Su Aoheng even dares to challenge us and wants to dissolve the engagement between the two families. Fenglan adjusted his clothes and replied, I actually want to cancel the engagement too. Only shallow men who only care about appearances like Xian Yahan would like that kind of gold digger like Su Lianni. Hearing this, his grandfather got angry. Shut your mouth, don't you understand? This isn't about whether you like Su Lianni or not, but we must have a marriage alliance with the Su family. Without the power of Su Lianni's 5 brothers and the Bai family, how can we stand against Si Yahan? Fenglan was still confident. Even if we have to have a marriage alliance, we don't necessarily have to choose Su Lianni. Doesn't the Su family have another daughter, Su Qingqing? I think Su Qingqing is also good. Why don't we just let her marry? But before he could finish speaking, he was struck painfully by his grandfather. Yuanshan was annoyed. Don't even think about it. She's an illegitimate daughter. Can she secure the power of her 5 brothers and the Bai family? Now, you call Su Lianni right now and win her back for me, he reluctantly replied. Grandfather? His grandfather raised his cane again. Call or not? Fenglan hugged his head and shouted, I'll call right now. He held out the phone and said, You watch. As long as I lift a finger, Su Lianni will definitely wag her tail and come running. But the phone emitted a voice. Sorry, the number you dialed is no longer in service. Please try again later. Then Fenglan jumped in fright. She blocked me. A few days later, at the Luoyu art exhibition, Lianni yawned wearily. She shouldn't have stayed up late playing games last night. She was so sleepy. At this moment, Yanqin called out, Lianni, don't you hate art exhibitions the most? Why are you here? She lowered her head sadly and replied, I miss Mom. This is the art exhibition that she and Aunt Shin established together before she passed away. It's also the thing she was most worried about, so I wanted to come and see it. Speaking of this, her little heart immediately changed its tune. How could that be? Of course, I came because the art exhibition has an important plot point. How could I miss out on watching drama? Yanqin was touched and put his coat around her. Don't be sad anymore. 3rd brother will look with you, Lianni obediently replied. Okay. After a moment, she asked again. Right, 3rd brother. Last time you said you were going to Country H to look for someone. Who is it? He answered. It's my life-saving benefactor. When I was little, 3rd brother was kidnapped, and she saved me. Lianni curiously asked. Have you found her yet? Yanqin shook his head. Not yet. Seeing this, she comforted him. It's okay, brother. I believe your wish will come true soon, Yanqin continued. Hopefully. Suddenly, his eyes stopped. He stared intently at the painting of the sea under the night sky. This painting. Then he urgently asked the manager. Hello, I wanted to ask, who is the artist of this painting? The manager replied, I'm sorry, the exhibition has a rule that the artist's name is only revealed when there's an auction program. Lianni beside him said, What's wrong, brother? Yanqin looked at the painting and replied, Do you know where I was saved when I was kidnapped? Where was it? He sadly raised his hand. It was also on a beach like this. Also a little girl like that. Yanqin lingered, touching the painting. Lianni secretly speculated. Could it be? At this moment, an assistant came over. Tuzong, Qin Susu is here. Yanqin immediately cursed. Damn it, I thought she wouldn't come today. Lianni smiled mischievously. Brother, don't tell me you're going to run away again. Yanqin turned to leave. Why would I run? It's just that I don't want to argue with her. With her personality, who can stand it? She laughed even louder. You two have been engaged since childhood, he uncomfortably interrupted. That was just Mom and Aunt Shin joking around. I don't take it seriously, and neither does Shin Susu. At this moment, the manager outside the door said, Miss Shin, please go this way. Hearing this, he quickly ran away. There's urgent business at the company. I'm going inside to make a phone call. See you later. Lianni already knew what he meant, and he said he wasn't running away. At this point, she looked towards the door. Seeing the beautiful woman, Lianni was full of interest. 3rd brother really has no eye for beauty. Such a pretty girl. If it were me, I would have taken her home already. On the other side, Sun Su instructed, Add a little more detail to the data here, and clearly annotate the sources. The assistant replied, Yes. At this moment, Xin Yu came over. Sister Qin, you're even more beautiful than the last time I saw you. This art exhibition is extremely good. I've already got my eye on a few paintings. Su spoke politely. The staff already made their selection. I'm just controlling some details. Then she looked towards Qingqing and said, Xin Yu, happily introduced. This is Su Qingqing, the daughter the Su family just found. Oh right, she's also participating in this art exhibition. That painting was even my recommendation. Su softened her tone and praised. Oh, so you're the artist of that painting. It's very spiritual. Looking at it reminds me of a memory from my childhood. Study art well. I believe you'll have great achievements in the future, she said enthusiastically. Qingqing replied. Thank you, Sister Qin. I will definitely work hard. Then, Susu noticed the bracelet on Qingqing's wrist. She then asked, This bracelet, but before she could finish, Ziyu beside her called out, Su Lian, why are you here too? Don't tell me you're planning to confess to Brother Sifeng Lam in front of everyone like last year. Su walked over as well. Su Lian, even though you're Maxanis, Bai's daughter, if you continue to do such embarrassing things like last year, I will directly call security to escort you out. Seeing the beautiful woman looking at her with a disgusted gaze, President Lian cried silently. Woo wu, beautiful big sister doesn't like me. Baby Hong then popped up with a suggestion. Ting, triggering random mission, increase Chin Su's favorability towards you, you can receive a surprise reward. Looking at the favorability bar, Lian happily said, surprise reward. Baby Hong added, that's right, but since Chin Su isn't the main character, the reward isn't a stat boost, but a small hint. It could be a hint about seducing the male lead, or it could be a hint about seducing the 5 brothers. The host can choose freely. Hearing this, she laughed inwardly. I accept the mission. The one that the beautiful big sister hates is Su Lian. What does it have to do with a white lotus like me? Coming over, Lian gently explained. Sister Su, you've misunderstood. Today, I'm not looking for Sifeng Lam, nor am I causing trouble. I genuinely came here to support your art exhibition. Ziyu didn't believe her and continued. Aren't you the one who hates Sister Su the most? What are you pretending for now? Ching chimed in. That's right, sister. Before, at home, you even said that Sister Su's eyes are higher than her head, and that you didn't like her. Why are you here supporting her now? She then covered her mouth. No, that's not it, Sister Su. I was just talking nonsense. At home, she didn't say that, Su said in a deep voice. Enough. Then loudly looking at Lian and questioning. Su Lian, what exactly do you want to do? Ching beside her secretly gloated. Chin Su is the top socialite of Hua country. If she hates Su Lian, then Su Lian can forget about raising her head in this high society. Lian didn't deny it, and excitedly replied, yes, it's true that I've spoken ill of you. Who told you to be so beautiful and talented? I'm jealous of you. Is that not allowed? Clearly they didn't expect her to say that, and all looked at Lian in surprise. You, what? Lian turned hostility into friendship, smiling brightly and adding, but now I've thought it through. I don't want to be someone who's jealous of you anymore. I want to be friends with you. Saying this, she secretly gloated. Who said white lotus flowers can only attack men? 1,000-year white lotus eats both men and women, you know?